Fourier right at the first down mark.
Know if they're going to be playing this game for any playoff
circumstance. We want to welcome the viewers who saw the Cleveland Browns defeat the Atlanta Falcons 24-16 in the finale. And the Carolina Panthers upset the New Orleans Saints 10-6, so the Atlanta Falcons are in, but a late field goal by the New England Patriots have tied the game. Here is the coin toss, and Dick Hantak, who is retiring. This is his last regular season game as an NFL referee. So the cheer that just went up, the New England Patriots tying the Miami Dolphins 24-all. And if the Patriots were to win that game, that means the Jets, with a victory today, would win the AFC East title. All right, before we have the kickoff, Moose, let's talk about the field, which was such a big factor yesterday. And the resod, they were kicking up turf. You were on the field before the game.
Yeah, well, everybody saw the field condition yesterday. After the Philadelphia Giant game, it was a mess. They came out, rolled the field, patched it as well as they could. They did not resod the field. Now, what they used to have were pallets, and they would replace them in small squares. What they've done this year are longer rolls. There's more area to that, but it is still very soft, and during the course of the game, the condition of the field will deteriorate just as it did yesterday afternoon.
The Packers have won the toss, and they will receive. And the score tied 24-all. Adam Vinatieri with a 43-yard field goal with 1:09 remaining in the fourth quarter. That game could be headed for overtime. So the Jet fans right now have plenty to cheer for. And what a weekend this has been, with the Giants winning in dramatic fashion yesterday, Moose, in overtime, 10-7, one of the more improbable games that I can remember.
It's just been a great final weekend in the NFL. The great thing about it is everybody had something to play for this weekend. There wasn't anybody that was assured of anything going into the weekend. We've got tremendous games all day long.
John Hall kicking off, and Robert Ferguson on the return for the Green Bay Packers, and jukes his way to the 30-yard line. Gain of 23 as Brett Favre comes out with his offensive unit. And let's take a look at the Packers group, and an offensive line that has had a lot of shuffling. Flanagan, Wall, Winters, Marco Rivera, who's a Brooklyn boy, going to the Pro Bowl, and rookie Kevin Barry starting at right tackle. Amon Green, another Pro Bowler and well-deserved. Driver and Glenn are the starting wide receivers, and Bubba Franks the tight end. First down at the 29, and Amon Green on the first carry of the game, maybe a yard. And as Darryl mentioned, the New York Jets defense, and Ted Cottrell said, coming off their best game of the year at New England last week, with Abraham, Ferguson, Evans, and Ellis up front, Sam Cowart, Marvin Jones, and Mo Lewis, the linebackers, Aaron Beasley and Donnie Abraham, the corners, with Sam Garnes and Damian Robinson at safety. Ted Cottrell turning around that defense. Second down and 8 for Favre, and his pass incomplete, bouncing in front of Donald Driver.
The reason that the Jets have been so improved, the beginning of the season, they had 6 new guys on that defensive team. They're starting to gel, and Brett Favre, talking with him yesterday, sees the similarities between what the Jets do and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do. They're getting better at understanding the system, but he still feels there are some holes out there that he can exploit.
Third down and 8, and Brett Favre playing in his 173rd consecutive game. Most consecutive starts in history by a quarterback. And his pass caught by Javon Walker and stopped well short of the first down by John McGraw, the rookie safety, and Donnie Abraham, forcing the Packers to kick.
Here's one of the areas of the game that head coach Mike Sherman is really worried about with the New York Jets. Santana Moss leads the NFL in punt return average. He's taken 2 back for touchdowns, and then also Chad Morton on kickoffs. He's taken some back for touchdowns. They don't only create field position, you've got to worry about giving up points when you kick the ball to the Jets.
Santana Moss leading the NFL in punt returns, a big edge for the Jets, as you mentioned. And Josh Bidwell, and the hang time a little less than they expect. And Moss getting away from Ferguson, turning the corner, and Santana Moss finally stopped at the 29-yard line. So right now, let's check the New York Jet offensive unit. And the line with Jason Fabini, Dave Zott coming back from knee surgery, Kevin Mawai, perennial Pro Bowler, with Randy Thomas and Kareem McKenzie on the right side. Curtis Martin, another 1,000-yard year, his 8th in a row. Lavernius Coles and Wayne Chrebet. And this young quarterback, Chad Pennington, who has won 7 of 11 starts, to throw on first down, and he dumps it off to Martin, who loses the ball. Cannot hold on. Bringing up 2nd and 10. Packer defensive unit, Kabir Bajabiamila, who's had an outstanding year as a pass rusher, Cledius Hunt, Gilbert Brown, Vonnie Holliday, who had 5 sacks last week against the Bills. Wayne Nickerson and Niall Diggs are the linebackers. And the big change, Matt Bowen starting in free safety in place of Darren Sharper, and that is a major loss for Green Bay. 2nd down and 10, and here is Curtis Martin's first carry, and he gets a yard, bringing up 3rd and long.
One of the guys we'll keep an eye on through the course of the afternoon for the Green Bay defense is Niall Diggs. That's the guy that's really raised his level of play. But this guy here, this is just outstanding what he has done. He has taken advantage of an opportunity. You saw in that first play, he is content to dump the ball off. He will not force anything down the field. That's why the Jets are one of the best in the league at not turning the ball over.
3rd down and 8, and Santana Moss coming in as a 3rd wide receiver out to the left, to the bottom of your picture. And he is shadowed by Tyrone Williams. And in motion goes Coles. And here is Pennington over the middle to Curtis Martin. And Martin is stopped short of the first down by about 2 yards. And a key tackle by Antoine Edwards, the nickel safety. And 4th down coming up, and so the Jets will punt for the first time.
Kind of like a heavyweight fight right now. Both teams coming out, kind of sizing up the opposition. There is some unfamiliarity here, but here's a great story. Eric Metcalf back in the NFL this season. The Packers were last in the NFL. You see the graphic right there. They've been trying different things throughout the year. This is the guy who's the best in the business at returning punts.
He has 10 career touchdowns. This will not be one as he calls for the fair catch at the 20. Lost the ball and recovers it. And right now, for a game break, let's check in with James Brown in Los Angeles.
Dick and Darrell, as you well know, both teams here, Miami, New England, fighting for their playoff lives. Miami was up 21-7, but New England fought back, and on that Adam Vinatieri 43-yard field goal, tied the game up to send it into overtime. We will keep you abreast of the action here. Back to Dick and Darrell.
And what drama here, Moose. I mean, here the Jets don't even know what's going on in that Miami-New England game, knowing they could be playing for division title. Right now, they're just trying to play to win. And on first down, Ahman Green cutting inside, picking up about 5 yards to the 30 with Donnie Abraham making the stop on Green, who went over 100 yards again last week.
One of the things that the Packers like to do when they run the ball is pull linemen. You see Mike Wall pull right there. He turns back inside to create this big mess. They've got to stop the penetration. Terry Glenn coming in from the wide receiver spot to get a crack block. Ahman Green, this guy runs as hard as any running back in the NFL. He gets a tremendous amount of his yards after contact. 110
yards last week against the Bills in the 10-0 victory. 2nd down and 5. Favre out of the shotgun, and he gets 6 yards on the play for Brett Favre, and that should be enough for a first down. The cheer going up here at the Meadowlands, and they are keeping track as the New England Patriots have won the toss in the overtime against Miami. Again, if the Patriots win, the Jets can capture the AFC Division Championship with a victory over the Packers. First down and 10 on the Packer 36. And a fake handoff and the rollout to the left. And this pass going nowhere, thrown behind the tight end Bubba Franks. Favre proving that he can be effective rolling out to his left, as we saw against the Bears this year on a Monday night.
It's one of those things that I think a lot of people feel when you have a right-handed quarterback. You want to force him out to the left side of the pocket, but Brett Favre is one of those guys who's so unique with his abilities that doesn't really affect what he's doing. And one of the things you have to guard against, when he rolls to one side of the field, you can't automatically assume that he won't come all the way back to the other side. You've got to contain everybody in the routes. He will attempt throws all the way across the football field.
2nd down and 10. He gives it to Green, and the Jets finally bring Green down at the 41-yard line. He moved the pile to the tune of 5 yards, and right in the middle of it was Jason Ferguson of the Jets. You know, most of the Packers scoring only 30 points in the last 2 games against the 49ers and the Bills, averaging 15 a game, and that's not what they're used to.
No, I think when everybody thinks about the Green Bay Packers, they think about explosive offense, but it's really been their defense the last few weeks. But I tell you what, the way that this team has overcome injuries and the young guys taking advantage of the opportunities, everything that's happened this week, it seems as though they are a team of destiny at this point.
You would think so. They were out of the 1st or 2nd seeds, and you're right, now they have a chance to be number 1. And there is Favre on 3rd down, and the pass is dropped by Ahman Green. So once again, the Jets hold the Packers and Brett Favre at bay. And Josh Bidwell will come in to kick it. 4th down and 5, and Santana Moss again going back deep.
Every defense wants to force 3 and outs, but when you've got a weapon like Santana Moss back there, the more times you can force the opposition to punt the football, it gives him that many more chances to make the big play that Mike Sherman is concerned about.
And Bidwell with a low kick, and here is Moss at the 15 with a chance for a return. Santana Moss, and the Packers getting a look at some sighting speed that the Jets bring. That was a 20-yard return by Moss. We want to welcome the viewers who saw a shootout today between the Minnesota Vikings and the Detroit Lions, with Minnesota winning the finale. And boy, did they finish strong, Moose, winning 38-36.
They really did. And among those finishing games, knocking off 2 potential playoff teams. But right now, New Orleans is out. That was one of the victories. In Miami playing right now, trying to get into the playoffs. But 2 impressive victories down the stretch for the Minnesota Vikings, along with today's game against the Lions.
Chad Pennington starting his 2nd series from the 36. Martin bouncing outside, and Martin with some hard work getting to the 40-yard line, picking up 4 yards on the play. Martin playing hurt all season. Only the 2nd player in history to get 1,000 or more yards.
You can see right here, they've got their 4 wide receivers across the formation, and what they're doing, they're spreading them out, giving the ball inside to Curtis Martin. And I tell you what, he is more proud of what he's accomplished this year than a lot of the milestones that he's achieved. He's played the entire year hurt with a high ankle sprain. There was talk of him possibly going on IR in September. So congratulations to Curtis Martin on a great year.
2nd and 6. Chrebet in motion. And Martin is stuffed at the 40 for no gain. And Kevin Mawai slowly getting up and got caught in the pile and slow to get up. And now Kevin Mawai going back to the huddle and shaken up a bit.
You're watching the left side. There's Kevin Mawai, number 68 right there. You see him getting bent back very awkwardly right there. They cannot lose Kevin Mawai in this position because the center is the guy who does all the communication back and forth on that offensive line.
3rd down and 6. Chrebet split to the left. And here is Pennington. Pennington's pass, the defender had fallen down, and the pass to Lavertius Coles was off the mark. Mike McKenzie had slipped. And right now, let's check in again with James Brown for a game break.
Dick and Darrell, New England driving nicely in overtime. Halfback Kevin Falk had a nice 15-yard run into field goal territory. He followed that up with this nice haul of this Tom Brady catch here, this Tom Brady pass. That took him to the 25, but it is being reviewed. We'll keep you updated. Back to Dick and Darrell.
All right, JB, and the punt by Matt Turk, fielded by Eric Metcalf. And Metcalf is dumped at the 21-yard line. So the drama of the unknown continues here at the Meadowlands. No score between the Packers and the Jets.
Chocolate cookie?
Hey, Bobby.
Hey. What are you talking about? Well, I would rent a car for 2 weeks. Yeah.
Why not get right to the good part? Like Southwest Airlines Rapid Rewards. Forget counting miles. Fly just 4 round trips and get 1 free by receiving double credit when you book at southwest.com.
You are now free to move about the country.
Let's circle back to Cincinnati with those figures now. I'm worried about that.
Oh, no. It's off? Okay, I'll be right there. Guys, I gotta go.
You think we can achieve substantial market penetration in the Pacific Rim?
That's awful. Really sorry, but I have to go.
The new Boxster. It is perhaps the perfect getaway car.
Okay, skinny and to the right. Wait.
Need a lot of minutes? Switch to Sprint, and for just $30 a month, get unlimited night and weekend minutes and 300 anytime minutes. And get a free PCS phone instantly at Sprint stores.
What about this? Good question.
PCS from Sprint. Clearly, the phone to give or get.
Fox NFL Sunday is brought to you by Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37.
Well, those fans are watching the Dolphins and the Patriots. That play was reviewed, and it was ruled a catch. So right now, the Patriots on the Dolphin 25-yard line, 1st and 10, in a overtime game with the score tied at 24. Packers with a 1st down at the 20. Green trying to go outside to his left, and he is tackled from behind by John Abraham after a pickup of 3.
And John Abraham makes that play all the way from the back side of the field. He's going to line up absolutely away from the play. Look at him as he comes up. He goes down the line in pursuit. Everybody talks about Kabir Baja-Biamila, but the Jets have a guy very similar to him in John Abraham.
The Jet defense ranking near the top in rushing defense and scoring defense. 4 wide receivers, and Brett Favre stepping up and fakes a pass and runs, and he may have a 1st down. Let's see where they spot the ball. Favre needed to get beyond the 31-yard line, and it'll be close.
I tell you what, it's just amazing to see the competitive juices of Brett Favre, not known for his running ability, but he's being forced to run the football because of coverage in the secondary. And these guys know that when the play breaks down, the one thing that Ted Cottrell talked about was what is a plaster coverage. You cannot turn your guy loose and move up to try and make a play on Brett Favre. He can make throws from any point on the field in any position.
1st down on the 31. So Brett Favre getting the 1st down, and a flag goes, and the Jets may have jumped. This could be a free play downfield, and Favre trying to hit Donald Driver just beyond him. But the preliminary signal, and Adam Vinatieri has just kicked the field goal to give the New England Patriots a come-from-behind 27-24 victory, and now the Jets have all to play for with the AFC East on the line in this game.
This is going to be unbelievable the rest of the way through this football game.
Right now, let's quickly go to Los Angeles for a game break with James Brown.
Dick and Darrell, here's the visual embellishment of what Dick said right here. Adam Vinatieri, the man who won the Super Bowl with that foot, booted it home 35 yards. New England 27, Miami 24. Back to Dick and Darrell.
And this place is going wild, and Brett Favre completing to Bubba Franks. And it'll be another Packer 1st down. Vinatieri with a 35-yard field goal to win the game, and now the Jets don't even have to be told. They heard it from the crowd that they have everything on the line in this game. So Herman Edwards said, look, we're either going to play just to get our 9th win or more at stake.
And he didn't let the players, you do what you've been doing all season long. You want to watch the TVs, watch the T's. You don't, go ahead, don't do it. But I tell you what, they have everything now. They can win the AFCs and get into the playoffs with a win.
Hand off to Green. Ahman Green getting close to midfield. And Marvin Jones making the tackle, a gain of 6 yards for Green. Green Bay Packers themselves starting the year, splitting the first 2 games, then they reeled off 7 straight before losing 2 road encounters in Minnesota and Tampa Bay. Things looked a little dim for Mike Sherman's crew, and then they have reeled off 4 straight victories coming into this game, and 12-1 is Mike Sherman's career record as a head coach in December. Tony Fisher in, and the fake to Fisher by Favre, and down he goes. Sean Ellis with a sack, and a loss of 7 yards for Brett Favre back to his own 42-yard line.
And Sean Ellis, the most consistent guy on this group, playing every down, run against the pass. He has the most pressures. Look at that right there. Brett Favre trying to get to the corner. He stops him, turns him back inside, and pursues him down to make the tackle. Brett Favre told the coaches, hey, if we're going to get beat today, let's get beat at what we do best. I don't want to game plan these guys. You've seen it. They're doing the normal things they do in the running game and moving Brett in and out of the pocket, but the Jets are standing up to it.
Hey, he likes to play by instinct, Darrell, and that's Brett Favre at his best. 3rd and 11, and the handoff to Tony Fisher, and the rookie is stuffed, forcing the Packers to punt again. Josh Evans limiting Fisher to a gain of only 3, and so Bidwell will come out to kick for the 3rd time. Well, you got to think the Jets have to be pumped up at this rate.
Well, they came out onto the football field not knowing what the scenario was going to be. They knew that the Cleveland Browns had beaten the Falcons and everything hinged on that New England-Miami game. But I like Herman Edwards' approach. He told them, hey, we're going out there to win the football game regardless of the scenario. But hey, as a player, you can't help but get a little bit more excited when you find out that everything fell your way.
Bidwell's punt, and it bounces off of the back of a Jet player and goes out of bounds. Chad Morton off of his back, and we'll be right back. The Jets get it again.
It's brought to you by Visa. It's everywhere NFL fans want to be. By Porsche, discover what only Porsche brings to driving. By Sprint, introducing PCS Vision, clearly a whole new way to look at wireless. And by Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you, nothing's better, Dr. Pepper.
You know how ironic this is? The Green Bay Packers right now are playing to eliminate the Jets for the New England Patriots, who are rooting for the Packers to eliminate the Jets. Irony on week 17 as the Jets start from the 16-yard line, and the swing pass to Curtis Martin, and Martin is tackled by Nate Wayne after a 5-yard pickup. And yesterday the scene was electric with the white towels waving, and the New York Giants first the miss by David Akers, and then the kick by Matt Bryant, and the Giants, who had trailed 7-0 and come back to tie, winning the game in overtime to clinch a playoff berth. And now the Eagles have to hope the Packers lose so they regain home field advantage. Curtis Martin off right in, and Martin near the first down marker, getting about 5, with Wayne and Anderson making the tackle.
The New York Jets, one of the most aggressive offensive lines in the NFL, very athletic in their group up front. They do not zone block and lean on you. They down block, pull people around. You can see Kareem McKenzie right there out in front leading the way. This is one of the concerns that the defensive line for the Packers have. They dig you out of holes. They make areas for the running backs. They create the hole. They don't ask him to find a seam.
They're going to measure to see whether the Jets have the first down, and they do. 3:08 remaining in the first quarter. High drama here at the Meadowlands. Dick Stockton and Darrell Johnston. The New York Jets, who came in, and for a while it looked like the Jets were going to be out of luck, that things weren't going to break their way, because Cleveland Browns were way ahead of the Atlanta Falcons, and the Miami Dolphins were up 21-7 over the Patriots. First down on the 26. Here's Martin getting an opening off the right side. Curtis Martin, the first down, and then going out of bounds at the 37-yard line. a pickup of 12.
Well, you can see why Mike Sherman was so impressed with Curtis Martin. He really feels that he is the key to this Jets offense, more so than Chad Pennington. What they're doing now, they're testing the perimeter of the Packers defense. You see Randy Thomas there, Kevin Mawai out front. You saw him hurt earlier in the football game last week against the Buffalo Bills. That defensive line of the Packers did a tremendous job of clogging up the middle. I like the Jets testing the perimeter of this defense right now.
First down on the Jet 38-yard line. It's been a punting match thus far. And the drop by Pennington, and he swings it out to Curtis Martin, who is down at the 41. Meanwhile, on the defensive line that you were talking about, Darrell, Gilbert Brown limped off the field. He's been bothered by a foot injury and missed 3 games before coming back last week. And Ron Walker replaced him in the lineup.
And obviously you'd love to have Gilbert Brown on the football field as your run stopper, but what that also does, it allows them to continue that rotation of the defensive tackles inside. With Gilbert Brown out of the lineup, they can't rotate the guys through as much, keep them fresh. You see Aaron Campman right there. You see the cast on his hand. That's a little bit smaller than the one he was wearing the previous 2 weeks. That should help him.
Lamont Jordan in the game at running back, but Pennington wants to go deep. He has Lavernius Coles downfield, out of bounds. Coles had beaten his defender Mike McKenzie, but the pass angled him out of bounds for a long incompletion, and one of the few long passes that we have seen Pennington make lately.
Yeah, he will dink and dunk you all the time, but when he wants to get down the field, he will take his shots. Mike McKenzie sitting on a route right there. That is one of the things that the Jets felt that they could take advantage of. There's 1 foot.
And there's going to be a challenge. The New York Jets have challenged because it looked from here as if Coles had both feet inbounds
New York
and control.
is challenging the call of incompletion on the field.
The defensive backs for the Green Bay Packers, physical guys that trust their instincts and sit on things. I really feel that the Jets, with their shiftiness, when you look at Santana Moss, Wayne Chrebet, the speed of Lavernius Coles on the outside, this is going to be a great battle all afternoon. We'll see if we can see when Lavernius Coles has possession. There's possession there. There's 1 foot. There's the 2nd foot out of bounds. I don't think he has possession when that 1st foot is down. I don't think he's established possession at that point.
And Dick Hantak. We'll look at it. Dick Hantak, as we mentioned, entered the league 1978, retiring. This is his last regular season game. 25th year, became a referee. Native of St. Louis, Missouri. And there is another look from afar. Question is that possession, and let's count the...
I think he doesn't have possession until after that next step. You saw the continuation when the play was frozen. I don't think he has possession at that time. I think it is established on the next step, and then his following step goes out of bounds. I don't think he has possession right there. Now we'll continue to roll it. Now he's got the ball secured. There's 1 foot. Here comes the 2nd foot out of bounds.
Remember, it has to be indisputable visual evidence to change the original call that it was an incomplete pass, and I don't know whether we have that, but 43 yards really is at stake here if that challenge is upheld by Dick Hantak.
Right now the Jets offense has found the guy that they're going to go after. It is Mike McKenzie. We saw a play earlier in the football game where they threw the pass to him when he had slipped in coverage. Now they try and take one over his head. He is going to sit on things. That is going to be the matchup that it looks as though the Jets will go to that side of the field with Lavernius Coles matched up against Mike McKenzie.
And Coles has become the favorite receiver for Chad Pennington as Dick Hantak prepares to give us his verdict. Coles with a 32-yard touchdown catch last Sunday night against the Patriots.
After reviewing the play, the receiver had possession of the ball with his left foot touching the ground. The right foot was his 2nd step. We have a completed pass. First and 10.
So they challenged the Jets, and they are successful. 43 yards as they overturn their ruling.
Yeah, and they talk about the fact that that 1st step was down when he did have the possession. Great job by our cameraman getting you the opportunity to see that ball being completed. And
Well, it's a great early birthday present for Lavernius Coles, celebrating a birthday today. And so, to the dismay of Mike Sherman, the New York Jets are in the red zone inside the Packer 20-yard line. First down at the 17. Remember, the New England Patriots defeated the Miami Dolphins, and at stake for the Jets, the AFC East title for the Packers' home field advantage throughout the NFC tournament. Richie Anderson in motion, and handoff to Curtis Martin. And Martin getting inside the 15. Niall Diggs is there. And a gain of 3. Gilbert Brown returning to the lineup for the Packers.
It's a guy that they have to have in the football game to stop the run. But what we're seeing right now is the New York Jets moving away from the interior part of the line to run the football. And they've got Kevin Mawai and these other athletic offensive linemen out in front trying to turn the corner on the perimeter.
2nd and 7. 40 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Hand off to Martin. Martin bouncing outside and cutting in. And down at the 9-yard line again by Niall Diggs. A 5-yard pickup. And that may be the last play of the first quarter.
Well, what you ask a running back in the NFL to do is make people miss. And watch Curtis Martin right there. He leaves Hardy, or actually Nate Wayne, in the hole right there. The ability to bounce outside, cuts back inside again. The field condition is tough, but it had no effect on Curtis Martin on that run.
Been the same for both teams yesterday and again today. And that is the end of the first quarter here at the Meadowlands. Lot hanging in the balance. Packers and Jets scoreless. We'll be right back.
And Curtis Martin with yet
another milestone.
And that shows you how important he is to this offense. That's just incredible, the durability that he has. And you look at the guys that he joins company with, Emmitt Smith and Thurman Thomas, 2 other players whose offense was heavily relying on the ability of a successful running game.
And Martin so far has 42 total yards, 30 on the ground, and 12 on 3 catches. And the Jets, as we start the second quarter, looking at 3rd down and 3. From the Packer 10. Pennington fakes a handoff, flips it to Beck, and the tight end trying to get in, and he'll have the first down. He does not score, but Anthony Beck getting to the 2-yard line. Matt Bowen making the hard tackle on the big tight end, preventing the touchdown.
Well, you've run this play and handed it off to Curtis Martin several times today. They used the same action and then boot out to the right side. You see everybody on the Green Bay Packers moving this way across the formation. There goes Anthony Beck out the back door, almost able to break the tackle to get in for the touchdown.
Jumbo Elliott is in at the tight end spot, reporting it'll be 1st and goal at the 1, and Lamont Jordan close to the goal line, and the pileup, and no signal from the officials, and the Packers did not let him in. Jordan does not score, bringing up 2nd down and goal. Packers trying to defend their goal line here. They shut out the Buffalo Bills last week. It was their first shutout since September of last year.
Well, watch the surge by the Green Bay Packers defensive line. They reestablished a line of scrimmage. Gilbert Brown with tremendous penetration right the center of the field stops Lamont Jordan before he can get going.
Jordan, the tailback. Gerald Soule, number 33, is the fullback. And the tight formation for the Jets, 2nd and goal. And here's the fake, the pass, and it is a touchdown to Richie Anderson. Reliable Richie Anderson, who can catch, run, and block for the New York Jets, and has for just about a decade, scoring from a yard out on the flip from Chad Pennington, and the Jets get on the scoreboard first.
Richie Anderson is a perfect fit for this West Coast style of offense that Paul Hackett likes to run. You've got to have a fullback who can put pressure on the secondary in the passing game. Another great play fake by Chad Pennington, and a really nice route right there by Richie Anderson as he goes against Todd McBride.
And the extra point by John Hall is good, and so the Jets move in front early here in the second quarter over the Packers, 7-0.
Everywhere by Toyota. Get the feeling. By Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers, now playing. And by Miller Lite. Life is best told at a place called Miller Time.
Jets taking a 7-0 lead over the Packers. 10 plays, 84 yards. First touchdown of the season for Anderson, but the challenge that was upheld by the Jets on the 43-yard pass to Lavernius Coles was the key play in that sequence. Robert Ferguson on the return for the Packers, and that has been their Achilles heel all year. Not only punt returns, but kickoff returns as well.
Danny sets me up on this blind date.
Pennington in his third year, but a quarterback with precious
little experience coming into this year. Incredible numbers of 19 touchdown passes, only 6 interceptions. Great patience and discipline for a young quarterback. But Brett Favre, the veteran, now on the scene, handing off to Amon Green for 3.
Well, we saw Richie Anderson get the touchdown. Gerald Soule was the fullback who was in there leading the way at the goal line. Here he is back on special teams. He is their leading special teams tackler. You can see why. He fights through 2 blocks to get to Robert Ferguson on that kickoff return.
2nd down and 8. 7-0 the Jets. Jets have won 6 of their last 8 games after their woeful start, trying to cap it all with a division title. And here is Favre, and he drills it. And a good defensive play made that time by Donnie Abraham, defending against Terry Glenn. And Donnie Abraham is a cornerback that Brett Favre is well familiar with, Moose.
Very well familiar with from his days at Tampa Bay, and that's one of the things that he sees in this system. Look at the break on the ball by Donnie Abraham, getting there just as the ball arrives. Terry Glenn's got to continue working back to Brett Favre. You need a guy like Donnie Abraham. When Herman Edwards comes up here, he has to have guys that know the system. Donnie Abraham is one of those guys that he can go to as a player to let the other guys know how to play that defense.
And how much does Brett Favre want to be at home throughout the entire playoffs? And here is pressure by the secondary, and the pass caught by Donald Driver. And that is the magic that Brett Favre can weave. He can be rushed out of the pocket, going down, and he throws a bullet, 9-yard pass, and a first down to Driver.
Well, here comes Sam Garnes on the blitz right there. He comes free, but Brett Favre buys just enough time. And look at the relationship that he and Donald Driver have built just through this season. This is the first time they're working together on a regular basis, and it's been amazing to watch these two as the season progresses. They know what each other are thinking. They move to the open areas. Brett always knows where Donald Driver is going to be.
First down on the 41-yard line, and the end around to Driver. Driver looking for running room, and the Jets won't give it to him. The New York Jets defense, great pursuit, closing fast. And it was Robinson and Aaron Beasley holding Driver to no gain, and Donald Driver slow getting up for the Packers.
This is something that he just had nowhere to go. He took a hit at the end. You see him trying to make moves, and this is what the Jets defense has done. They've bought into this team concept, the pursuit. Look at all the green jerseys around that football.
And Driver shaken up. He's been Favre's favorite this year, without question.
There's some good in this world, and it's worth fighting for.
Time magazine calls The Lord of the Rings, The Two Towers.
Donald Driver just getting up off the field right now. At the end of that run, his left shoulder gets kind of bent back in an awkward way as he's tackled down to the ground. You see as he spins out of it right there. Now as he goes down, you just kind of see it on that left side. Just kind of gets tucked underneath. Watch as he tries to spin out of this tackle. Watch his left shoulder get tucked funny. He's got his right arm down. It could be either one. He's got his right shoulder out flat. His other one is tucked underneath.
Donald Driver on the sideline, walking off now. And while we have a moment, let's check in again with James Brown for a game break. JB.
All right, fellas, take a look at how San Diego got on the scoreboard to tie it up. Is Drew Brees hooking up with Steven Alexander on the post route. He, the former Washington Redskin, and it's all tied at 7. That in the second. Back to Dick and Darryl.
And a West Coast finale in that game as Donald Driver on the sideline. Robert Ferguson replaces him. At wide receiver, both are out to the left. There's Ferguson, 2nd and 11, and Amon Green split to the right. And Favre looking left and going for Ferguson with double coverage, and the pass is thrown out of bounds. Jets had Ferguson shadowed all the way, and that will bring up 3rd down.
Brett Favre taking a shot down the football field, and one of the things he will do, he will make throws into the areas of the field because of the strength of his arm and will challenge defensive backs to make plays. He gives his offense every opportunity to step up and make a big play. You can see right there what he gets from those approaches in the game. 9 consecutive 3,500-yard seasons. Just an unbelievable accomplishment by Brett Favre.
What he wants, though, is a win to give the Packers home field advantage. Donald Driver shaken up on the sideline, and the pass is trying to go to Ferguson. Incomplete. 4th down. So Brett Favre has not been all that sharp in the early going here. And early in the 2nd quarter, the Jets leading 7-0, and will get the ball back.
Well, we talked to Brett about playing on the road, and they really felt that the big victory at San Francisco a couple of weeks ago was going to be a big confidence builder as we see Donald Driver heading into the locker room. But up until this point on the road here at the Meadowlands, Brett Favre not off to a very good start.
He's 3 for 9 for 20 yards as Josh Bidwell, in a crowd, unleashes a punt that was fielded on the fair catch by Santana Moss. So as the driver heads for the locker room, we head for commercial with the Jets leading 7-0.
Next week, the NFL's 2nd season begins with
round 1 of the NFL playoffs. The San Francisco 49ers host their first playoff game in 4 years against either the Giants or the Falcons. Coverage of the NFC wildcard playoff begins next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 Pacific, only on Fox Sports. And that won't be determined until after the Tampa Bay-Chicago game. Earlier today, Jim Fossil, breathing easier, talking to Brett Favre during the pregame warm-ups. And Pennington firing out to Lavernius Coles on a screen, and a great play made by Cledius Hunt, getting out there and limiting. 1-yard pickup on the play.
This is just a tremendous play. Cledius Hunt, number 97, senses it right away. He sees the offensive lineman leave and move out to the screen. He gets right on his hip and chases it all the way down the line. Now, we'll see defensive ends do this a lot, but that's a big defensive tackle motoring down the line of scrimmage right there to chase down a wide receiver.
2nd down and 9. Jets on their 22. Pennington getting a rush up the middle, getting rid of it and throwing it away. Good rush that time by Nate Wayne. Pennington, by the way, on the scoring drive by the Jets was 5 for 5 for 60 yards. And when we took our break, this is what transpired on the field.
Yeah, and this is what happens on this field because it is so soft that the guys aren't slipping. They're just kicking up huge chunks of sod, and they're going to try and get those things replaced, pat them down as well as they can. But it will be a difficult chore the rest of the game today to keep this field in good shape.
Jets substitution up front. J.P. Machado replacing Dave Zott at left guard. 3rd down and 9. Pennington getting protection this time. It breaks down, and he is down himself as Jamal Reynolds, who had an impressive week of practice, showing good speed and making his presence felt, gets Pennington for a loss of 2 and the first sack of the game by Green Bay.
And we just continue to see guys take advantage of their opportunities with Keith McKenzie and Steve Warren out of the lineup. Jamal Reynolds gets more opportunities, and as you pointed out, he came off a great week of practice this week, has worked his way into the lineup, has a sack right there.
At Turk on 4th down, and Eric Metcalf and busts the ball. It's a free ball, and the Packers trying to keep it in their possession, and they do. Antoine Edwards recovers the muff by Eric Metcalf. He's going to be very rusty, I would think. Green Bay ball when we return.
So not going to get there, but watch him push Brian Westbrook all the way back into Eric Metcalf. He doesn't have an opportunity to make the catch, and then James Darling with a great opportunity to recover the fumble, rolls right over the top of it. Good play by Nick Ferguson, finishing that, pushing his blocker right into the returner. And there you see 51, James Darling, with an opportunity for a huge play early in this football game.
Packers are trailing the Jets with just under 10 minutes remaining in the first half. Green Bay yet to reach Jet territory. Begin from their 38. Franks, the tight end, in motion. Pressure on Favre. Spins away and fires incomplete. But Brett Favre, in his nimble way as a veteran, managed to avoid a sack. And John Abraham getting close.
John Abraham coming from the top. Look at his responsibility. What he has is contained on the bootleg. Brett Favre, up until this point, has done a tremendous job with his legs and not his arm. He has avoided sacks. He's extended plays. He's actually ran for a couple of first downs. So we're seeing a Brett Favre that we're unaccustomed to seeing.
He is 3 for 10 for 20 yards. Those are not Brett Favre numbers as he pitches out to left to Amon Green. And Green tackled at the 45-yard line, getting 7 by Jason Ferguson. Green, too, by the way, has been playing hurt this year. You're looking at a couple of Warriors at running back for both teams. Curtis Martin for the Jets and Green for the Packers.
And the Packers all season long have really been hit hard by the injury bug, and they've lost a lot of stars by some of their key guys, but the role players continue to step in. There's Kevin Berry right there. He's actually their third right tackle that have played. Center Mike Flanagan moves over to left tackle. They've got Frank Winters in at center, who's 39 years old. Just an unbelievable job what these guys have done filling in for each other.
And Earl Dotson out with a back injury, but they got Frank Winters back in New Jersey getting the job done, and the pass bobbled and caught by Tyrone Davis, and the Packers finally get into Jet territory, getting 7 yards. Ray Mickens, the nickel corner for the Jets on the tackle so far, finds Davis, and the Pack move this change.
Tyrone Davis very fortunate right here. Usually you only get one touch in the NFL. You can see him kind of bobbling that ball. Ray Mickens just there a little bit too late, where he could have put on a big hit and jarred Tyrone Davis loose from the ball.
Remember, the Packers are playing without Driver, who is shaken up. He had caught one pass in the game, and so Ferguson had gone in his stead, and Green on the carry, getting 3 yards on first down. So for the Green Bay Packers, welcome to Jet territory as they are at the 46-yard line. And Mike Sherman sends in 2 tight ends on 2nd and 7. Here's Amon Green has blocking, and Green with a first down to the 35. And that was a superb job by the left side of the Packer offensive line to get him 9.
Oh, and they had an opportunity for a huge play right there, because there was a mix-up in the coverage, and Sam Garnes is trying to rotate the coverage all around. He is running back to the deep half of the field. The Green Bay Packers running right to the area that was vacated. You can see him trying to come up and make a play late right there.
First down on the 36. Green. Amon Green diving close to the 25-yard line and close to yet another Green Bay first down. And a pickup of 9 yards. So right now, Brett Favre not sharp as a passer, getting the job done on the ground.
No, he's not, and that's why he talked about the importance of Amon Green to be effective this afternoon. Marco Rivera, he's going to pull from the right guard 62. You see him coming out. Look at him chase down John Abraham. Just gets an arm on him to push him out of the way. But that gave Amon Green the ability to get into the line of scrimmage and make a move.
2nd down and 1. Tony Fisher, the tailback, but Favre will throw it, and it'll be caught at the 10 by Ferguson, and the Packers just outside the 10-yard line, knocking on the door. Gain of 16 yards with Beasley on the coverage in a 7-0 Jet lead.
And this is about as well as you can do it. You see Robert Ferguson, he runs right up on Aaron Beasley. The ball is delivered before he makes his break, and it arrives. You just can't cover that. That is good coverage by Aaron Beasley, but that is just a well-executed play between Brett Favre and Robert Ferguson.
1st and 10 at the 11. And a whistle and a penalty, and a false start call will be coming up against the Packers in what has been relatively a penalty-free game in this first half, Bruce.
It really has been a very well-played game.
Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
Up until this point, and Kevin Berry getting called right there, but it looked as though he and Tyrone Davis both left a little bit early. So, yeah, Kevin goes first, and then Tyrone goes second. But I tell you what, here's a guy starting his third game. He finds himself in a football game with home field advantage on the line. He's done a tremendous job in his previous 2 starts.
First down and 15, back on the 16, and Favre flips it to Green, and Ahman Green getting to the 16. Steve White is there. And the word on Donald Driver, who was shaken up and escorted off the field and into the locker room, is that we will not get a word on Driver's injury until after halftime. Meanwhile, Brett Favre has relied on Robert Ferguson and the running game of Ahman Green. Packers looking with under 5.5 minutes to go in the first half to tie this game, trailing 7-0. Plenty at stake for both teams. For the Packers, home field advantage throughout. For the Jets, a division title. 2nd and 15, and the slant caught by Javon Walker, and the #1 draft pick by the Packers will get it down to the 5-yard line.
And Javon Walker, a guy who lost his job as the 3rd receiver in this offense last week to Robert Ferguson, takes advantage of the opportunity. Donald Driver is out of the lineup. Robert Ferguson moves up to #2. Javon Walker goes back to #3, makes a big catch, gives the Packers an opportunity here to tie the game.
10th play of the drive upcoming for the Packers, but they will use a timeout. Their first of the game with 4:34 remaining in the second. The Jets up by a touchdown.
Other things, he's extending the play with his legs. He's running for first downs, and it's only a matter of time before he gets into that rhythm that we've all seen him get into. And you've got to take advantage of those points in the game where Brett Favre is a little bit out of sync, and that's the way the game started. But right now, you saw that graphic, 4 for 5 on this drive. He's starting to get into that rhythm that we all know so well.
Actually started the game 3 for 10, but has completed his last 4. So, you know, sooner or later, Brett Favre is going to get hot, and it'll be 3rd down and 4 at the 5-yard line. Jets scoring in the second quarter. Chad Pennington capping an 84-yard drive with a 1-yard flip to Richie Anderson. And the Packers looking to even it up. Well, this crowd could have been dead today if things had not broken right for the Jets. But the Patriots helped them out with a great come from behind rally and a win in overtime over the Miami Dolphins. And this youngster has spearheaded this team. Green is out of the game. Tony Fisher is in. Favre rolling out. Escapes one play, and the pass is incomplete, and it was Damian Robinson who knocked the ball away from the intended receiver, Robert Ferguson, bringing up 4th down. So another former Tampa Bay Buccaneer.
Just unbelievable to what Brett Favre has done, extending the plays. You see Robert Ferguson right here waving for the ball, but now he's got to work back toward the football. Damian Robinson comes from 10 yards away to make that play. All Robert Ferguson had to do was work his way directly back to Brett Favre and make that catch.
So here's Ryan Longwell as the Packers trying to settle for 3 here, and Longwell's field goal from 23 yards out is good. He was 1 for 1 last week in the win over Buffalo, and so with 4:22 remaining in the half, Favre brings the Packers close, but no cigar as far as a touchdown, trailing now 7-3. Well, let's take a look now at the NFC playoff picture. The Green Bay Packers, as you know, playing for home field advantage. But if they were to lose this game and Tampa Bay wins later on against Chicago, the Packers would not even get a bye. They would be home but not get a bye in the first round. They could also slip to 2nd position and give the Philadelphia Eagles second life for the best record and home field advantage in the NFC. And we know that Fox will bring you round 1 in the wild card to match up next week, Sunday, in San Francisco.
And with the New York Giants winning yesterday against the Philadelphia Eagles to get into the playoffs, we'll take a look at what Jim Fossil did on his first day after establishing the Giants into the playoffs. He's already back in the office breaking down film. He knows that he's got a critical game next weekend as the playoffs start. I'll tell you right now, the New York Giants are not a team I'd want to I want to have to play in the first round of the playoffs. Jeremy Shockey has elevated his game. They will pose a very difficult problem to whoever they meet.
And, you know, they could be playing this Green Bay Packer team, and the Giants have not played the Packers or the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They did play the 49ers in the opening game of the season here at Giants Stadium, and were beaten in a close battle. So Longwell ready to kick off this 23-yard field goal. There's the scoring drive for the Packers. And the dangerous return people, Chad Morton. He's the big threat. He returned 2 kickoffs for touchdowns in the opening game against the Buffalo Bills this year. Lamont Jordan is the other return man back for New York.
And the thing about Chad Morton, you better make sure you've got him wrapped up on these returns. He's not your typical kickoff return guy. He's not just a speed guy. He runs with tremendous strength and power and breaks a lot of tackles.
They have Mike Westhoff again doing a brilliant job as special teams coach for the Jets. A short kickoff by Longwell, and Chad Morton returning, looking for some running room, and dragged down at about the 33-yard line. Paris Lennon on the special teams tackle, so Morton returns that 22 yards. Chad Pennington, you want to talk about consistency. That kind of says it all.
Well, they went back in the offseason and took a look at the playoff teams from last year and looked at the teams who were in the playoffs and their completion percentage, and there was a strong correlation right there. Now what they've done this year, they've convinced Chad Pennington that it's about completing passes, moving the chains, managing the game, getting yourself into 2nd and 4, 2nd and 5. You don't always have to hit that big pass down the field.
Hand off to Curtis Martin. Flag goes down, and Martin with a burst close to the first down yardage, pending the call, and normally that would indicate holding against the offense. And the Jets backing up. Dick Hantack.
Personal foul. Defense. Number 97 in the face.
The Jets backed up thinking it was a holding penalty, and instead it'll be a personal foul.
Cledius Hunt getting called for the face mask right there, and a 15-yarder to boot. You get into the middle of that line, everybody's fighting. Tough to find. That's just a pile of guys in the middle there. Oh, there it is right there. You see 97 coming through. He's got a handful. He's got a handful right there.
So the penalty against the Packers, the Jets were backing up, but they'll take it. It'll be a first down on the 42 of the Packers. And the end around to Lavernius Coles. He gets by McKenzie, and Coles down the right sideline with a huge gain for the Jets, down to the 21. What a play that Coles made, spinning away from the grasp of McKenzie, and a gain of 21 yards. And the Jets are threatening once again.
What a job by Lavernius Coles to break a tackle deep in his backfield. This is the perfect defense call. They've got Mike McKenzie, number 34, coming on a blitz. You got to wrap that guy up, Mike. He just spins right out of his grasp. Now he picks up some blockers downfield. Wayne Chrebet does a nice job on the outside, allowing him to get about 5 or 10 more yards.
First down at the 21-yard line, and here is Pennington getting protection, and out on the right, wide open, Richie Anderson dropping the pass.
Boy, you won't see that very often. Richie Anderson, one of the surest hands on the football team. Wide open in the flat, just a little breakdown in concentration.
Second and 10 for the Jets, leading 7-3 with under 2 minutes remaining. Here's Curtis Martin. And Martin is dragged down by Matt Bowen after a 5-yard pickup. Martin to the 16-yard line. Jets still have 3 timeouts remaining. Darren Sharper sitting this one out. with a sprained knee. 7 interceptions, tied with Rod Woodson of the Raiders for the NFL lead. And a huge factor in the Packers defense in the latter stages of this year. 3rd down and 5. And Pennington lays it on the line to Chrebet. Chrebet diving inside the 10. It'll be a Jet first down. 1st and goal for the Jets.
One way to combat the physical play of the defensive backs of the Green Bay Packers is to use the strengths of the wide receivers. Look at Wayne Chrebet, just kind of lulls Mike McKenzie to sleep, breaks inside, but then the ability to get out of that break and to get some more yards.
2-minute warning here at the Meadowlands. The Jets are driving and leading.
Jim Fossil taking timeout is an interesting
Onlooker from the tunnel. Tell you, yesterday, great drama here as the Giants win in overtime to get into the playoffs. And now, can Herman Edwards get it done for the New York Jets? Could be a magical weekend for the New York football teams. 1st and goal at the 9-yard line. 2 minutes remaining in the first half. Play action. And Pennington lofts it into the end zone, and it's knocked away. And the pass was intended for Anthony Beck, the tight end.
Anthony Beck going up, and it's Matt Bowen who's going to be in coverage, the guy who's filling in for Darren Sharper. You see him right at the end of the play, extend right there, get a hand in to knock that ball away from Anthony Beck. A little bit too much air under that one by Chad Pennington, allowed Matt Bowen to get in and make that play.
Bowen starting for Darren Sharper at free safety. 2nd down and goal. Pennington trapped and sacked. And it was Kabir Bajabiamila, who since taking over for Joe Johnson has done a terrific job, and a loss of 2 yards.
And if you're going to run a quarterback draw, you have to get somebody on number 94. You see Jason Fabini work down inside, but Kabir Bajabiamila is just too quick to let go unblocked on a quarterback draw. He's got a tremendous first step. You saw the long stride right there. It was so quick that Jason Fabini could not get back. He secured the inside, moving down with Dave Zod, but Kabir just too quick to get around outside of him.
That is the 13th sack of the year for Bajabiamila. And I'll tell you what, this could be a magical weekend. And, you know, the way the crowd was not sure what the Jets' status would be, Darryl, coming into this game after the Giants winning yesterday. Very relaxed. Jim Fossil getting ready for a wild card game next week. And the Jets can win the division. Amazing what these teams could do.
I mean, both of them, the way everything has kind of fallen into place for not only the Jets, but also the Packers, the opportunity to secure home field. And that was the scenario we had yesterday. The Giants had to win to get in. They did that. Philadelphia lost an opportunity to secure home field for themselves throughout the playoffs.
And the Packers don't want to avoid that this time. The pass to Chrebet. He's in for the score. Wayne Chrebet on the slant. And a 12-yard pass, and the Jets leading 13-3. Chrebet making amends last week after the costly fumble against the Bears 2 weeks ago, the big touchdown catch last week, and he comes back with a scoring reception today.
Well, right now we're seeing the quickness of the New York Jet wide receivers really wreaking havoc against the Green Bay defensive backs. Todd McBride right there, who sat out last week with a groin injury. Wayne Chrebet starts him to the outside, breaks quickly, back across his face, open in the middle.
John Hall adds the 14th point. So Chad Pennington with 2 touchdown passes. And the New York Jets leading the Green Bay Packers 14-3 with 1:40 left in the first half.
And you can just see the poise and the confidence of Chad Pennington right in his eyes right there. I tell you, for a guy who's really getting his first opportunity to start as an NFL quarterback, he is so impressive to sit down and talk to. He was one of the last guys out of the facility out at Hofstra on Friday afternoon. Not only good on the field, but good off the field. Very meticulous in his preparation.
He was the first quarterback picked in the 1999 draft. His first start of the year came at Jacksonville in Game 4 after Vinny Testaverde had had suffered a bruised shoulder. And Pennington has not looked back. He has led the Jets to 7 wins in 11 starts and leading here as you look at the scoring drive.
One of the things that we always comment about is that intangible that a quarterback has. And I think that Herman Edwards really kind of shed a new light on it. He said Chad Pennington is the kind of guy, when he walks into the huddle, people want to follow him. And it's this charisma that you see from the quarterbacks in the NFL, and I've never heard it stated in quite such a clear way. And that's what Chad Pennington does, and you've heard Santana Moss talk about it, and Lavernius Coles. When he steps into the huddle, we all look at him, we're all excited, and we're all anticipating what the next play is going to be.
Wayne Chrebet on the receiving end, and the crowd chanting Jets, Jets, as Ferguson returning the kickoff for the Packers and run out of bounds. Tell you what, the New York Jets making the most of their opportunity here once they knew from the crowd that the Patriots had defeated the Miami Dolphins, giving the Jets clear sailing with a win to capture the division title. Coming up on the Visa halftime report, scores and highlights from around the league, and the Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats, plus a playoff picture update. I mean, this is a team, the Jets, that were 1-4 at one time and then 2-5. But Brett Favre always has an answer, and his first pass to Ferguson on first down is complete out to the 31, a gain of 7. But no one uses the clock better than this guy.
No, you're never in a situation when you can relax when Brett Favre is lining up at quarterback, and the Jets got to finish this first half strong right now.
Favre's pass to Terry Glenn, and he makes the catch. Tough catch by Glenn. And he's got it at the 49, a first down, a gain of 21 as he wrestled Damian Robinson, the free safety, for the ball.
Brett Favre gives his wide receivers an opportunity to make plays. He throws balls into areas, has confidence in them to go up and make the catch.
And the Green Bay Packers are out of timeouts.
You see Terry Glenn at the end of this play. He just goes up and makes the catch. Damian Robinson is in good position. Nice hustle by James Darling, or no, it's actually Aaron Beasley right there, tracing the play from behind, because Terry Glenn was about to spin out of that tackle by Damian Robinson. You see Aaron Beasley tracking him down from behind right there.
21-yard gain, and Terry Glenn, who joined the team this year in a trade from the New England Patriots, has always had good success against the New York Jets when he played for New England. Packers are out of timeouts, 58 seconds left, and Mike Sherman, who has been a strong December head coach, but the road is a different territory for this team apparently.
It really is. We all heard about their record back at Lambeau Field, but they are not the same football team on the road. All 3 of their losses this year coming away from Lambeau Field.
On first down, the pass is intercepted, it appears, and now it is incomplete. It is trapped by Donnie Abraham. The official has ruled it an incomplete pass. So this will not be an interception. And the Jets oblivious to the fact that it was ruled an incomplete pass, trapped by Abraham, still celebrating a would-be touchdown. So this will come back.
See right there as the ball sliding through the legs has
ruled incomplete. Second down.
Now the question is, if it's going to be reviewed, it would be from upstairs, because it was within 2 minutes.
And once it's ruled incomplete, the Jets cannot gain possession of the ball, so there probably won't be a review in this situation. You see right there the pass being ruled incomplete and having touched the ground.
Clock to read 52 seconds. 52, thank you.
So if the play is decided to be reviewed up in the booth, there is no way for the Jets to regain possession of this ball.
And he did not have control at all. And the ball hit the ground, and so there'll be no review, as you mentioned. So it'll be second down and 10. Packers at the 49 of the Jets. Here's Ferguson with the reception, stepping out of bounds, picking up the first down.
This is so fun to watch quarterbacks in the position that Brett Favre is when there's just absolutely no panic involved. They've got plenty of time, 48 seconds right now. There is no sense of urgency. There is no hurrying. He's just taking his time, methodically moving the football team down the field. You see the slow start, the 3 for now, but what he's done since then, going 70% on the last 2 drives.
48 seconds and no timeouts remain for the Packers. That was a low snap on the shotgun, drilling the pass through the hands of Ferguson. And 2nd down and 10. And 6 seconds used up on that play.
And you wonder why the ball went through his hands. Brett Favre does a nice job of handling the football right there. But watch the zip that he puts on this football. I mean, he's putting everything he has into that one right there. Robert Ferguson is late getting his hands up. It's moving so quickly towards him.
Second and 2, 2nd and 10. And this pass off the hands of the defender, Aaron Beasley, as the receiver, Glenn, lost his footing. Now 3rd and 10 for Green Bay.
Well, Mo Lewis getting there with the pressure, and the Jets line up in what looks to be a 3-man line. But here's Mo Lewis right here. He's going to come on the blitz on the outside. The Jets very rarely will rush 3 defenders. They will have a linebacker or a safety come. It could look like a 3-man rush look, but they will bring that 4th guy to bring pressure from another spot on the field.
So now 3rd down and 10, and the Packers, they just tried to get the ball closer to field goal range for Longwell, but no, Favre is going for everything. And Javon Walker appeared to have it in his hands. It was a bullet thrown by Favre, and it is knocked away inside the 5-yard line. Incomplete.
Mike Sherman worrying about the fact that Javon Walker may have hit that rookie wall that you hear people talk about. He's had a lot of drops in the last few weeks. That's why Robert Ferguson was elevated to the number 3 spot. An opportunity to make a huge play at the end of this half, and he just can't bring the football in.
How much velocity is Brett Favre throwing the ball on this series?
Well, we saw the previous pass where Robert Ferguson couldn't even get his hands up in time, and you see right there the frustration of Brett Favre. He knows that Javon Walker missed a big opportunity right there.
4th down and 10, and here's Walker making the catch, and a 1st down inside the 15, and no timeouts remain for the Packers, who have to hurry up and spike the ball as the clock continues to run, and Favre will stop the clock at 14 seconds and a 1st down on the 14 of the Jets. So they might have 1 play and then go for the field goal.
It will all be up to what Mike Sherman decides to do, but Javon Walker with an opportunity to make a big play. Brett Favre comes right back to him on the next play. He makes good with the 2nd opportunity, but with 14 seconds, I say that the Packers have a couple shots into the end zone. I say you take 2 shots into the end zone. Remember, they don't have any timeouts, so you don't want to throw the ball short of the goal line. Have an opportunity for the Jets to make a tackle and run out the clock. You got to throw it into the end zone in this situation.
10th play of the drive, and a high snap, and Favre rolling out to buy time and looking into the end zone, and this pass is caught. Touchdown by Terry Glenn. So the magician does it again on 4th down and 10. It was Brett Favre who hit Javon Walker to keep it alive, and then with seconds remaining, Terry Glenn receives another Brett Favre bullet. A 14-yard catch, and the Packers back in the game.
This is why you can't go to sleep as a defender. Brett Favre is rolling to his left. He's got nothing there. He crosses back to the right side of the field, throws it all the way across the football field to Terry Glenn. Donnie Abraham actually in good position, but when you play against Brett Favre, you can never relax on the football field.
He is relentless and a man possessed when he wants to get it done. The extra point was good. Another look.
Just very nonchalant, one hands the high snap, rolls out to the left, doesn't like what he sees there, comes back to the right side of the field, moves a little bit that direction, but here's the velocity you talked about, Dick. Watch this ball. I mean, he literally fits this ball into an area that is so small. Donnie Abraham does a good job. Terry Glenn works back away from him. Football is a game of inches, folks, and there's no better example than right there.
How can you defend it any better than Donnie Abraham? And another laser, this time into the hands of Terry Glenn, who has done some damage against the Jets in the past, and the touchdown pass And the extra point bringing the Packers to within 4 with 5 seconds remaining. And the normally placid Mike Sherman.
Well, he talked about the guys yesterday just giving a little muffled kind of a murmur on the bus when the score came up, but we know that that's not the case. He knows how important it is for the Green Bay Packers to have home field and force everybody in the NFC to come through Lambeau Field to try and get to the Super Bowl this year.
And what a great job Mike Sherman has done. And this was a team that has been decimated with injury. So this is a club that never used the injury problems as an excuse. They had it early on in the defensive secondary, and both defensive and offensive lines hit hard by injury throughout the year.
And time again, somebody steps up and takes advantage of the opportunity. And Mike Sherman can't say enough good things about his young guys as they've performed this season. Longwell's kick picked up by Kevin Swain as time runs out. And so the Jets, who opened up a 14-3 lead, only to see Brett Favre lead a late rally in the second quarter. And the score 14-10 in favor of the Jets at the half. And Fox NFL Sunday continues with the Visa halftime report.
Drive, what changes are you going to have to make, if any, in the second half to contain him?
Well, that's the whole deal. If you give him the ability to stand back in the pocket, he has a strong enough arm where he can throw the ball across the field. And we can't let him go to our left. I mean, we know if he goes to the left, he's dangerous. And what we have to do is score some more points on offense.
All right, Brett Favre can go to his left, go to his right. Can beat you, especially when he's got that strong throwing arm, as Ryan Longwell kicks off to Chad Morton. Morton with a return out close to the 40-yard line, and there's that special teams return game that the Jets use so well. A 33-yard return by Morton as we check first half stats.
Well, you see what that last drive did there in the second quarter. Brett Favre coming to life late in that first half. The majority of the yards being gained on their last 2 drives. The Jets a little bit more consistent through that first half.
And of course, the Jets defensive line had done a pretty good job in pressuring Favre earlier.
They really had. He just made plays. It was Brett Favre and his receivers making plays when the play broke down.
Jets starting from the 40, and Pennington looking to throw up the middle, and the pass caught by Lavernius Coles, and a gain of 16 yards. Pennington, who has an uncanny way of being so accurate, hitting Coles for 17 now as you look at the first half comparison of the veteran Favre and the youngster Pennington.
And you see the rating by Chad Pennington right there. That comes from the fact that he doesn't force things. He takes what the defense is giving him. Every once in a while he'll go to that intermediate route or that downfield route, but he is content to challenge the defense with the underneath throws.
Jets on the Packers 43, leading 14-10, and Curtis Martin picks up a couple of yards on the play. Well, this is developing after the early drama into really what is in essence a playoff game right now, and the Jets giving all they can. You know, I believe that the Jets could be the first team in NFL history to lose 5 of their first 7 and win a division title. Pretty distinguished if they can do it.
Unbelievable, and you can't say enough about Herman Edwards keeping that football team together when they got to 2-5. And when you talk to the guys on the football team, he was the one steadying influence. Their season was going up and down on a roller coaster, but Herman Edwards was always the constant, always coming into practice the same way with the same attitude.
Second down and 9. Curtis Martin off the left tackle, burst for a first down to the Green Bay 32, getting 10. Bowen and Edwards making the tackle on Martin.
This is the area Kevin Mawai, the center, is going to get out in front. Again, the athletic ability of that offensive line. You can see the hole that he creates. He kicks him out. Curtis Martin springs into the secondary, and that's the one thing that Mike Sherman does not want to see, is Curtis Martin getting onto a good roll as the second half starts.
56 yards on 11 carries. Pretty nifty 5.1 yards per rush. They fake it to Martin, and Pennington running up the middle on a fake, and picking up nearly 7 yards on first down, and a penalty flag down.
Personal foul, defense, unnecessary roughness, number 56, First down.
When the quarterback slides feet first, he is giving himself up, and you cannot hit him. Now, if Chad Pennington was to go head first, you can come in and put a hit on him. That's a touch call in a game of this magnitude, but they've got to know the rules. Hardy Nickerson has to know that when Chad Pennington slides feet first, he's giving himself up and he can't hit him.
So a 6-yard gain, plus 13 with the penalty, and the Jets now find themselves inside the Packer 15. So this is exactly what Mike Sherman dreaded coming out in the second half. Fake pitch, and wide open is Richie Anderson. Anderson diving close to the first down near the 5. Marcus Anderson, the rookie strong safety of the Packers, chases him out of bounds after a pickup of 8.
Well, here comes Richie Anderson, number 20, coming all the way across the formation after you. And there's another quarterback rolling out to his right. Chad Pennington, a right-handed quarterback. You see the toss. There goes Richie Anderson all the way underneath everything. Right here is Chad Pennington, boots out, has him out in the open field.
Second down and 2, and the Jets today have been perfect in the red zone. Looking to open up an 11-point lead. Here's Martin. Touchdown. Curtis Martin straight up the gut for 5 yards, and the Jets open up a 20-10 lead.
Well, you've got to see the explosiveness of Curtis Martin once he makes his decision. When that seam opens up and he sees the goal line, you're going to see him at the end of this run just finish into the end zone. Stutter, stutter. Now I've got my seam. Here I come. Boy, what a big hit right there on Matt Bowen, trying to come up and stop Curtis Martin from going in, but he was not going to be denied on that play.
John Hall. And the kick is good, and the Jets have opened up a 21-10 lead, matching their biggest lead of the game early here in the third quarter.
On the road of life, there are passengers and there are drivers.
Across the Hudson River, the Empire State Building, New York at night, but here in New Jersey at the Meadowlands, elated Jet fans seeing the Jets go 60 yards in 6 plays. Pennington, very efficient, and Curtis Martin with the touchdown for the Jets. For Martin, his 7th touchdown of the year. Robert Ferguson returning the kickoff, hemmed in, and finally goes out of bounds at the 32-yard line. Jets 21, Packers 10, with so much at stake for both teams. We'll be right back.
Randy Thomas with the down block right here. Dave Zott's going to pull. Nate Wayne, number 54, follows him out. That created the hole for Curtis Martin, and he finishes the run by going over the top of Matt Bowen.
From the 32-yard line, Terry Glenn in motion. Brett Favre giving to Amon Green, and the Jets close the hole, and a gain of only 1 yard. Jason Ferguson and the Jet defense doing a brilliant job thus far. That one drive toward the end of the first half, the only one engineered by Brett Favre, where the Packers were what we know of Green Bay when Favre is at his peak.
Well, what a great job by the Jets offense. So coming out in the second half and stealing away all the momentum that Green Bay had created on that scoring drive to end the first half.
Second and 9, and the pass not looking for it is Ferguson, who had his back to the pass. Remember, Ferguson has been installed with Donald Driver out with a bruised left shoulder. X-rays on the shoulder were negative. Questionable as to his turn. Has not come back in the second half.
John Abraham, the right defensive end. That is him going up to try and deflect that ball. He is 15 yards downfield into the area where you throw the skinny post from the right defensive end position. The athletic ability of these guys playing in the NFL today is absolutely incredible.
Third down and 9. This crowd very excitable, and the pitch to Amon Green, and Green nearly lost the ball on the shovel pass. does not gain anything. And it's 4th down. So right now the Packers seem out of sync, Darryl.
Especially on this play. This is the second time we've seen the Packers try and do the shovel pass, and both times Brett has got it back there on Amon's back shoulder, and he's had to make an adjustment. He can't hit the ground running that ball. He's got to go back to make the catch and secure it. He takes his eyes off the field and can't find the hole.
Santana Moss waiting for the punt by Josh Bidwell. Lost his footing, looked like he slipped just as he retrieved the ball inside the 25.
After a 3-and-out by the Packers,
The Jets will start from their 24. Brett Favre waiting for another opportunity. First down for the Jets, leading 21-10, matching their biggest lead of the game. Curtis Martin gets running room, and the Packers unable to get Martin, who ends up with a big gain of 19 yards to the 43 before Matt Bowen makes the play.
It was so strange because that play didn't look like anything. Anthony Beck, tight end, he's the guy that seals Vonnie Holliday. Here comes Richie Anderson. Kevin Mawai does a great job of turning back inside to get Nate Wayne in what looked like was going to be a 2- or 3-yard gain. Those guys go in, dig everybody out of the hole, and spring Curtis Martin down the sideline.
Curtis Martin has 81 yards on 13 rushes, averaging over 6 yards a carry.
Okay.
First down at the 44 of the Jets. Here's Pennington. Pennington going deep for Coles, and the pass is underthrown, and the covering was Tyrone Williams. Let's take a look at the AFC playoff picture with Oakland and Tennessee getting the byes. Now, if the Jets hold their lead and win, they would move into the number 4 slot and replace the New England Patriots, and they would be home in the wild card game against either the Cleveland Browns or the Indianapolis Colts. But if the Packers come back and win, it would be the New England Patriots.
The New York Jets right now controlling their own destiny, which they did not do when the afternoon started. The New England Patriots cheering for the Green Bay Packers to come back and win this football game.
And pass caught by Santana Moss and brought down at the 49 of the Packers. It'll be a couple of yards from the first down marker, picking up 7.5 yards.
Well, on the previous play, the ball was a little underthrown because we had a big hit. Here come the corners off the side. You're going to see both these corners move in and come on the blitz. You don't see a lot of double corner blitzes. That's something that you'll see from the Philadelphia Eagles. Ed Donatel stealing a little thing right there from defensive coordinator Jim Johnson.
3rd down and 3 with under 9 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. And Pennington leading the receiver, and it's caught. Beating the linebacker, Nate Wayne, is Curtis Martin downfield, 28 yards, and the Jets marching inside the 20-yard line of, actually they'll mark it at the 21 of the Packers, and now throwing and running at will against Green Bay.
This is a matchup, Nate Wayne versus Curtis Martin. I tell you what, it's just guys making plays for the New York Jets. Nate Wayne is in good position on this route. The ball is a little bit underthrown. Curtis Martin is able to make the adjustment to get the catch. That is why this guy has the intangibles. We talked about him being a guy that this team will follow. You can see how excited he gets.
On the 21, Lamont Jordan into the game. And Jordan picking up 2 yards on first down as Curtis Martin getting a breather. Martin has caught 4 passes today and has rushed for 81 yards, 123 total yards and a touchdown. And the great thing about Chad Pennington, and this is what Herman Edward loves, is that he's most of the time mistake-free.
Yeah, that's the big thing. I mean, he rarely makes mistakes with the football, and one of the reasons that the Jets are so good at not giving the ball away is Herman Edwards preaches fundamentals all year long. At the practice, during the individual sessions, it's ball security by the running backs and pocket presence and 2 hands on the ball for the quarterbacks.
2nd and 8, and the slant caught by Coles, and Lavernius Coles getting inside the 15. A pickup of 5 yards, and once again, the New York Jets, who have been perfect in the red zone today. They have been there 3 times, have scored 3 touchdowns, and find themselves in the red zone again. We're 3rd down and 2 coming up from the Packer 13. And this could be a very big possession for the Jets, who have opened up an 11-point lead now with 6:40 remaining. And the toss to Moss. Moss gets in. Touchdown, Jets. And the New York Jets rolling right now. Here in the 3rd quarter, coming out and scoring 2 touchdowns.
I tell you what, that one right there is all Santana Moss. A quick wide receiver screen out to the outside. He steps back, catches the ball, but watch this. He gets some blocks, but after that, missed tackle by Jamal Reynolds. Matt Bowen gets there late. 6 points for Santana Moss.
He is John Hall with the extra point. And the Jets have opened up a 28-10 lead as Chad Pennington with 3 touchdown passes on the day.
And in us. And it's making the global economy more global.
For the world's great.
By Southwest Airlines, proud sponsor of the NFL and official airline of Super Bowl 37. By HP. HP Technology, Services, and People help make more things more possible. By Dr. Pepper and your local Dr. Pepper bottler. Be you. Nothing's better. Dr. Pepper. And by National Security, starring Martin Lawrence. In theaters January 17th. Rated PG-13.
The New York Jets had scored touchdowns on their last 3 possessions. And what incredible scoring drives today. 84, 67, 76, 60, and 76 yards for their 4 touchdowns. Pretty impressive. Here's Robert Ferguson at the 14, returning for the Packers. And the Jets are there again. Sam Garnes, former New York Giant, and both New York teams look like they're headed to postseason.
Dick, you talked about the fact they have 3 touchdowns on their last 3 possessions. Jethro Franklin, the defensive line coach, and Vonnie Holliday trying to figure out what's happening on the football field right now. They cannot slow down that Jets offense.
Chad Pennington is 15 of 21, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions. Brett Favre, can he bring the Packers back? They've got a long way, and this pass way off the mark. And again, the Jets putting on tremendous pressure on Brett Favre. Sean Ellis that time storming in on Favre.
And the big thing that they're doing, the key to this pressure, is they're able to do this with their 4-down linemen. Sam Cowart coming on the delay pressure right there, picked up by Mike Wall, but it's the 4 defensive linemen that are generating the pressure on Brett Favre.
And if you get a 4-man rush and it's working, you're in pretty good shape defensively. 2nd and 10. Favre knows he has to let it out, and the pass flagged down, and the pass caught by Glenn near midfield. It would be a 23-yard gain pending the officials' call. Terry Glenn catching a touchdown pass to bring the Packers to within 4 just before intermission.
Terry Glenn makes the catch, but there's the illegal contact right there by Sam Garnes on Robert Ferguson.
Illegal contact. Defense number 42. Penalty is declined. Result of the play, 1st down.
So 23 yards for the Packers as they decline the penalty against Sam Garnes. Nearly 6 minutes remaining in the 3rd. Packers have a long way to go, but Brett Favre has been there. Favre stepping up, going underneath, completing to Ahman Green. And a 5-yard pickup to the Jet 47. Marvin Jones in position to make the play.
one of the big reasons you can tell that the Jets are really starting to understand the system that Ted Cottrell has put in. The area that they struggled in the beginning of the year were the underneath routes to the backs and the tight ends, and they had poor tackling at that time. But we've seen through the course of the afternoon, even when Brett Favre wants to dump the ball down low to a back or a tight end, the linebackers and the safeties are moving up immediately to make the hit.
2nd and 5, and they're going to give it to Green. Green cutting inside, has the first down for the Packers to the New York 41-yard line. Jets trying to win their 2nd division title, last one in 1998. Jets have lost one game against the NFC North. That was a tough loss against the Packers a couple of weeks ago, or I should say the Bears, which seemingly at the time people thought might have ended the Jet playoff hopes. And here they are, a little more than a quarter away from capturing the AFC East. Here's Green up the middle. And a good first down gain by Amon Green of 4 yards. And I would think, Darrell, that the Packers, if they are going to hang in there against the Jets, have to come away with something on the scoreboard on this drive.
Just because of the way that the Jets offense has been moving the football, the start of the second half and then the last 3 possessions with the touchdowns, they've got to do something to give their defense a rest. We saw Vonnie Holliday talking with Jeff Raflanka. They don't know what's going on out there on the football field right now.
Here's the pass caught on the comeback to Terry Glenn. Glenn has been a valuable receiver for Brett Favre today, and he's got to find someone with Donald Driver out with the bruised shoulder. 14-yard pickup, another Packer first down.
Well, this is one of the things that Brett Favre felt he could do. The reason that they didn't quite completely understand the Tampa Bay defense. You see that void created right there. You saw Sam Gardner, number 42, flash across the screen. Brett Favre pumped Amon Green on the swing pass, got him to move out of the lane, and then threw a strike to Terry Glenn.
And Glenn leads the Packers with 4 catches for 72 yards and a touchdown. Here's pressure again, and this pass off the hand of Bubba Franks. But once again, it was Brett Favre and John Abraham coming in strong on Favre. And, you know, this game reminds me, and we worked together, of the New Orleans game early in the year when Brett Favre had precious little time, and the offensive line gave him no chance, and the Saints won.
Yeah, if you want to really get Brett Favre out of his rhythm, you have to get pressure on him. If you allow him to stand back there and scan the field, he will be able to get into his 2nd and 3rd progressions and find the open man. The Jets have not allowed him to be comfortable in the pocket all afternoon.
Bubba Franks lining up wide to the right. There you see 6. The sacks and the handoff to Green, and the Jets getting Green down at the 20. Jason Ferguson limiting Amon Green to 3 yards as we wind down to 3 minutes remaining in the 3rd quarter. 3rd down and 7. And there's the nickel package in the game with James Darling, the linebacker, as well as Ray Mickens, the nickel corner. Third and 7 from the 20. Favre. Intercepted over the hands of Javon Walker and Sam Garnes on the interception. Still going into Packer territory. And finally brought down at the 31 of Green Bay. And this place is going wild.
Ball sailed on Brett Favre just a little bit over the top of Javon Walker. Sam Garnes in the back of the end zone. Brett Favre does a nice job, though, of preventing a touchdown. He gets over on the sideline to slow everything up. But you watch here, Javon Walker goes behind. The ball's thrown high. Sam Garnes moves in. Sean Ellis had an opportunity right there to get a hold of Brett Favre as we see the ball go over the top, right into the waiting hands of Sam Garnes. Well, I tell you right there, he has got a lot of real estate out in front of him with nobody there. Brett Favre gets over there and forces him to the sideline.
65-yard return by Garnes on the interception. Curtis Martin, who has scored a touchdown, dives inside the 30 on first down.
You take a look right here. You saw Javon Walker go behind the defensive back. Brett Favre tries to get it in between that area. In that situation, you've got to go across the face. He needed to work across the face of Donnie Abraham. Brett Favre has to throw it over Donnie Abraham's head. It goes a little bit too high, and Sam Garnes is sitting right there waiting for it.
And right now, the Jets are dominating the Green Bay Packers on both sides of the ball. Garnes' interception, his second of the year. 2nd and 7 on the Packer 29. Here's Martin. Not much there. And Pat Bowen forcing the play from the secondary. And that will bring up 3rd and long for the Jets. As the time running out here in the 3rd quarter. Dick Stockton along with Darryl Johnston. Packers know that the win today would give them home field advantage, something that the Eagles had in their grasp yesterday before they lost to the Giants, who beat them in overtime. And now the Jets may prevent the Packers from getting that Lambeau site where they have never lost a playoff game. And the Eagles still may sit pretty before it's all over. 3rd and 6. Pass caught over the middle. Wide open is Coles. First down to the 15. So Pennington gets 13 more. And now the Jet receivers seem to be wide open all over the field.
I tell you, you can see in the beginning of the game right there, nice rub right there. But the thing that he didn't do is he didn't stop and make contact as he went through. He forced Tyrone Williams over the top. That's a nice little rub. Lavernius Coles comes wide open, but these smaller, quicker, faster wide receivers are really starting to take the game away from the physical defensive backs of the Green Bay Packers.
And maybe the loss of Darren Sharper looming larger than anyone expected in the Packer camp. Here's Martin. And Martin is tripped up. Lavernius Coles today, 5 catches for 79 yards. Martin is knocked back for a loss of 2, and the Jet crowd cannot believe the way things are going as time begins to run out in the 3rd quarter. Here was a team that was on the verge of being eliminated before the game started because the games were not going their way. But things changed dramatically in New England, and now the Jets are the kingpins, perhaps. That's the end of the 3rd quarter, with the Jets leading the Packers 28-10. And welcome back to the Meadowlands. Dick Stockton along with Darryl Johnston and the New York Jets. After a scoreless first quarter, scoring 2 touchdowns in each of the 2nd and 3rd quarters, opening up a 28-10 lead and 1 quarter away from winning the AFC Championship. And the Cheeseheads become Jetheads. 2nd down and 12, and the handoff to Curtis Martin. And Martin, maybe a yard, will bring up 3rd down and long. Well, let's compare a possible 4th MVP, but a definite Hall of Famer in Brett Favre with 26-year-old Chad Pennington.
And actually, Chad Pennington, one of the guys that he always watches clips on is Brett Favre, because they play a similar style of offense, and offensive coordinator Paul Hackett will do cut-ups. So Chad Pennington, actually a fan of Brett Favre, loves his competitive spirit and the fact that he thinks he's got a short memory. He's always looking for the big play. If something bad happens, he just moves on. He loves the mentality of Brett Favre.
And once again, the Jets couldn't be any better in the red zone than they have been today. 3rd down and 12, and the pass caught by Wayne Chrebet. Chrebet going in for another score. 18-yard pass. And the Jets are running away with it. Early here in the 4th quarter, the New York Jets scoring on their 4th straight possession. And it is 34-10 for Chrebet, his 2nd touchdown catch of the day.
And this is just a simple flat route thrown on the back shoulder. Wayne Chrebet turns around, and again, it's Todd McBride in coverage, not being able to get out of that break, and these smaller wide receivers doing a number on the secondary.
John Hall looking to add the 35th point of the game. And what has happened to the Green Bay Packer defense? Ask Chad Pennington. He's put up 35.
Movie movies, music, and exclusive sports from the leader in digital satellite entertainment. By Miramax Films' Gangs of New York, now playing in theaters everywhere, rated R. By Microsoft, providing software for the agile business. And by the new H2 Hummer, like nothing else.
Back here at the Meadowlands, and Chad Pennington, as you look at the scoring drive, tying a career high with his 4th touchdown pass at 4 at Detroit against the Lions in mid-November. And if he had the highest rating of any passer in the AFC coming in, he might be in front of everybody now. Eric Metcalf returning the kickoff inside the 10. So Ferguson gives way to Metcalf, trying to make something happen for the Packers. And he goes out of bounds. With 1 minute gone by in the 4th quarter of what could be a long celebration for the Jets. Next week, the NFL's second season begins with round 1 of the NFL playoffs. The 49ers will host their first playoff game in 4 years against either the Giants or the Falcons. Coverage of the NFC wildcard playoff begins next Sunday at 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific, only on Fox Sports. And the backup quarterback, Doug Peterson, is into the game, replacing Brett Favre, and Sam Cowart gets a tip on Peterson's first pass of the game. So Brett Favre completing his day and waiting for postseason, and that postseason may come sooner, Moose, than the Packers expected. They could be playing next week.
Well, everything that was out there for the Green Bay Packers to achieve this afternoon with a victory home field throughout the NFC portion of the playoffs, now they could be playing next week in the wild card round.
2nd and 10, and a flag is down on the handoff to William Henderson. Brett Favre completed 16 of 33 today for 172 yards.
Offense number 71, 5-yard penalty.
1 touchdown and 1 interception. That was Kevin Barry, guilty of the false start. So Brett Favre's numbers. Right now, the team that's got to be ready to pop the champagne corks prematurely for just placement would be the Philadelphia Eagles, who are down so much after they lost to the Giants yesterday, and now could get the home field advantage again. Hand off to Henderson. Out to the 25. 3rd down and long coming up for the Packers. And you talked about it at the outset, the fact that Green Bay wanted that home field advantage. They've never lost a playoff game throughout, but on the road, a different story.
Even with the December record, you see all the stats about what they've accomplished in December, but on the road, this is a much different football team. All 3 of their losses this year coming on the road, but they really felt they had turned the corner with that big victory in San Francisco a couple of weeks ago.
I know that Mike Sherman did. He says this was a huge win for us, as William Henderson dives past the 35 and short of the first down.
See Chad Pennington, he is still into this football game, and I tell you what, sitting down and talking to this young man, he is so impressive. You can see right there just the passion that he has for this football game, and as a quarterback in the NFL, you've got to have the certain intangibles. You need certain physical characteristics, but this guy right here shows what you can do when you have that competitive spirit and the ability to pull a game out of nowhere. And Chad Pennington, being a fan of Brett Favre, you're going to see a lot of similar qualities.
Josh Bidwell punting, and Santana Moss with a fair catch. Well, Brett Favre showed the flash one time, and that was the last possession before the first half. He looked brilliant, but it hasn't been enough.
Life is full of difficult choices.
NFL Sunday is brought to you by Saturn, makers of the View, redesigned L Series, and the all-new Ion.
Jets going back on the attack, leading 35-10. Early here in the 3rd quarter, Chad Pennington with 4 touchdown passes, tying a career high. Wayne Chrebet, Santana Moss, Anderson. Chrebet has caught 2 of them. And Pennington starting from the 20. Curtis Martin. Martin has run for a touchdown today, his 7th of the year, and held to no gain.
We talk about the physical play inside the trenches between the offensive and defensive line, but special teams is another area. Kerry Campbell right there getting on Matt Bowen, staying with him all the way down the field. They're going to jostle back and forth, but watch the headbutt. Boom. Right there, Matt Bowen wants a call. A nice job by the officials stepping in there, not throwing the flag, talking to the guys, getting them separated. Let's just play the game.
No reason to throw the flag.
No, absolutely not.
2nd and 10. Here's Barton off the right side. And it puts a good fake on Bowen, and a flag is down. And Curtis Martin out of bounds at the 25.
Holding, offense, number 88, 10-yard penalty. Repeat the down, 2nd down.
So holding penalty. Anthony Becht. And the Jets now back at their 10-yard line, where it'll be 2nd down and 20. It has been a glum day for the Cheeseheads. A lot of green in the stands. The green and gold for the Packers, the green and white for the Jets. By the way, that was only the 2nd penalty of the game against the Jets. Extremely disciplined club, starting right here with Pennington. And this pass incomplete, intended for Coles.
And that's all an extension of what Herman Edwards does as a head coach. The fact that they're one of the least penalized teams in the league. They don't turn the ball over. All the things that are within their control to win football games, they do a tremendous job.
Here's a flag down. And holding against the Jets.
67. Penalty is declined. 3rd down.
They declined the penalty. Flag called against Kareem McKenzie, the right tackle. Well, there's an interesting head. I've seen Cheeseheads. I've seen Jet fans posing as Cheeseheads. But that is a Shrek head.
That's the neutral fan. He's a fan of both the Packers and the Jets, and just wanted to show up.
And New Year's Eve is a little early here at the Meadowlands. Maybe not. 3rd down and 20. Chad Morton in the backfield getting the call and carrying it out to the 15. And 4th down is coming up after the pickup of 5 yards.
4th and 14 Jets.
Chad Martin, with the return guy for the New York Jets, going from running back. You saw him moving out. Now he's got to go down and cover the punt as one of the gunners on the outside.
And punting is Matt Turk. And Metcalf fields it on his side of the 50 and then gets buried as he is backed up at the 46 by Kelvin Moses. 36-yard punt by Turk. Packers ball.
Well, everybody's trying to get into the action now. Watch Matt Turk right here. A little cheap shot in the back to Tyrone Davis. Now he's going to run it high to the official. Hey. Official, he was after me.
Looks like they're playing tag out there. William Henderson for a couple. Let's consider the Jets were 69 seconds from elimination when Adam Vinatieri made that field goal to send that Dolphins-Patriots tilt into overtime up at Foxborough to give that Jets a chance. They came out on the field and didn't really know whether they were in or out or had a chance to be in.
And that was the approach that Herman Edwards wanted this afternoon. You just go out and win this football game. We'll worry about all the other stuff afterwards. Yeah. The number one thing we've got to do to even be eligible is to win the game this afternoon.
Yeah, he had him focused, Moose, no question about it. And it wasn't just lip service. Peterson's pass to Bubba Franks close to the 1st down. And this was the scene in the Jet locker room before the game. And Herman Edwards said if they want to look at television and they want to have the games on, that's fine. But an hour before the game, I'm shutting them off. And I guess they were just focused and professional, and they went about their business. We saw the fans out in the parking lot and tailgating before it started. And he was ready. He said, if we're out of it, we just want to win the game. We want to set a tone going into next year. Well, turns out they're playing for a lot more.
Yeah, they really have. And he keeps the schedule the same during the week. He kept the schedule the same on game day. If you're a guy who watches the games in the locker room beforehand, go ahead and do it. I'm not going to change up what we do on Sunday.
Yeah, the bye week was big, and we'll talk about it more. But first, let's check in with James Brown for a game break. JB.
All right, Dick and Darrell, take a look at the running back, Clinton Porter. Simply sensational. 22 carries, 212 yards, Dick. He's got 1,492 yards in the season. That's a Broncos single-season rookie rushing record, and 16 touchdowns. Back to Dick and Darrell.
All right, JB, and that's with Steve Berline starting at quarterback, and maybe Brian Greasy's days are numbered in Denver. Peterson flings it. And Terry Glenn makes the reception inside the 35-yard line. What does this game mean for Terry Glenn, Darrell?
Well, it's actually very, very important for the New England Patriots, because coming into the game, there were a couple of scenarios where it was going to cost the Green Bay Packers a fourth-round draft pick if he achieved those. And Terry Glenn has done that with 5 receptions this afternoon. He has eclipsed that. So the Green Bay Packers will have to give the New England Patriots a fourth-round draft pick for next year's draft.
Hand off to William Henderson. Well, it'll be kind of a sorrowful day for the Patriots, who, had the Packers won this game, they would have been the AFC East champions and hosting a game next week. But it's been all New York Jets, and so the Patriots will go by the boards as well. And it's interesting how the season goes, and what a great year it's been, that both last year's Super Bowl teams, the Rams and the Patriots, won't even be in the playoffs.
That's what the NFL is all about, this system of free agency. There are no dynasty. It's so difficult to repeat as champion in the NFL.
Here's Henderson. You brought up another point earlier. You know, you talk about free agency, and of course, you can't keep everyone. You can keep a lot of people, and there aren't always the major free agent people. But you mentioned athleticism and how better the players are today in their athletic skills, and that may be one of the reasons why all teams have the ability to come out of nowhere and upset teams, because of the athletic skills of some of these guys.
And one of the things you talk about, there's not a lot of depth, but look what the Green Bay Packers have done this year, fighting through the injury problems. So the athlete in today's game, I think the key to free agency is just how quickly they grasp the new system that they're in, whether it's an offensive or defensive system. Because of the amount of change we're seeing, we're not seeing the guys get 3 to 4 years to really learn the intricacies of the system.
Henderson stopped at the 25, bringing up third down. In fact, many coaches will tell you, and we learned that from Herman Edwards, that, and he did, picking up people from Tampa Bay, that they will pick up free agents that are amenable to the system that they are operating, not guys that don't match so well.
And when you've got some coaches now that are coming off different staffs, you've got Lovie Smith in St. Louis, Herman Edwards is here, the head coach of the Jets, all coming out of Tony Dungy's system in Tampa Bay. Now he's in Indianapolis. You'll see those guys move from teams to team because there's so much carryover with those systems.
Pass is batted in the air. Sam Garnes getting a piece of it. So fourth down coming up. Doug Peterson has been in the last 2 series for Brett Favre, as the Green Bay Packers now are setting their sights to what could be a game next week in the wild card entry. And there you see the play again with Garnes, very active today with a big interception and a 65-yard return, leading to a Jet score.
And they've really taken advantage of his strengths. Midpoint of the season, when a lot of adjustments were made for the Jets defense, one of those was getting Sam Garnes closer to the line of scrimmage to utilize his strengths.
On 4th and 4, pass caught for the first down of the 20 by Robert Ferguson. As we get close to the 6-minute mark in this game. Now, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who are in Champaign, playing in colder weather than they'd like, now play the Chicago Bears. And if the Bucs were to win that game, they would move in to the number 2 position and get a bye and a home game in 2 weeks. And it would be the Packers that would still be at home next week in Lambeau, but they would have to play next week. Peterson to the end zone. Bubba Franks, and a flag is down. Touchdown. The penalty marker thrown, and Bubba Franks caught the ball for the score. 20-yard pass. Bubba Franks has done that all year. Whenever the Packers have gotten at or near the red zone, he has been Mr. Reliable. And we'll check to see what the penalty call is.
Personal foul on defense, number 42. Helmet to helmet on a receiver. The result of the play is a touchdown. We will penalize 15 yards on a kickoff.
See Sam Garnes right there. He goes helmet to helmet with Bubba Franks. He also gets Marvin Jones. He gets both the guys. You see as he goes through there, and then he gets Marvin Jones, his own player. Marvin actually takes the brunt of that hit.
And the extra point by Longwell is good, so that is the 7th touchdown catch by Bubba Franks, most by any tight end in the NFC. 35-17. Chris Sims leads Texas for the final time as the 9th-ranked Longhorns take on the LSU Tigers in the 67th SBC Cotton Bowl Classic. Kickoff is 11 a.m. Eastern, 8 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox. Well, that touchdown by the Packers brings them a little bit closer to 35-17, and is also the first touchdown that the Jet defense has given up in the 4th quarter in the last 10 games. So that's a pretty impressive string, and one of the factors as to why the Jets, after opening up losing 5 of their first 7, have turned it on and are on the brink of a division title. Onside kick, and it's picked up by the Packers, and running and down at the 20-yard line is Nate Wayne, and a flag is down. The kick has to go 10 yards.
It went about 9. Nate caught it in stride, but he caught it just a little bit too early.
Tell you what, that couldn't have been coordinated any better. In stride was Nate Wayne, but it has to go 10 yards on the onside kick.
You see right there, he's got it about a yard
touching on the kicking team, number 56. The ball did not go 10 yards. 5-yard penalty.
Now, being a guy who was on the onside kick recovery team, which is one of the most unenviable positions to have on the football field, I never understood why when the other team illegally touches the ball, as Nate Wayne does right there, about 2 yards short, did they get a chance to do it again? I lobbied and lobbied and lobbied to say, hey, you know what? They didn't execute it. They cheated a little bit by touching it early. Why are you penalizing me by making me do this whole thing again? Because as a guy on the front line, you absolutely get blown up on this play.
Yeah, but forget about that. It's that fans love to see it.
Well, you know, they can love to see it, but let them go down there in that front line one time, and they'll be on my side to get that rule changed.
Well, I'd rather be up here, and so would the fans wearing those funny hats.
I mean, you are absolutely defenseless, especially when they hit that nice little high chopper and it pops up and you're waiting there with like a ribbon around your waist, and these guys are coming at you with a full sprint from 15 yards away.
Ryan Longwell, and it's gone the other way. Gerald Soule. Well, that's why the onside crowd would love this, and Gerald Soule returning that kick. Mike McKenzie making the tackle as the Jets and Vinny Testaverde coming onto the field. Veteran had started the year and suffered a bruised shoulder against the Jacksonville Jaguars in Game 4, and Chad Pennington leading the cheers on the sideline. Boy, he is so mature and poised beyond his years, Pennington.
And passionate about the game. All he cares about is winning the game.
Lamont Jordan on the handoff will lose some yardage thanks to Jamal Reynolds.
And when they drafted Chad Pennington in the first round a couple of years ago, one of the things that Herman Edwards wanted to do when he got here was to allow him to wait and go through the proper channels. He got to sit behind Vinny Testaverde until he was ready.
Welcome the viewers who have been watching other games to the Meadowlands. Chad Pennington with an incredible game today, completing 17 of 24, 4 touchdowns, no interceptions, and the Jets on their way to the AFC East title. And here is on the end around Santana Moss. And Moss going out of bounds inside the 15-yard line as we go to L.A. and check in with James Brown for a game break.
Hey, Dick and Darrell, Pennington had himself an excellent game. Take a look at this rookie out west. Clinton Portis with a 12-yard touchdown run, second on the day, 17th of the season. He has outgained the entire Cardinal team with 228 yards for the game. Wow, and Denver convincingly ahead. Back to Dick and Darrell.
Well, we've had some tremendous rookie performances this year where you look at Clinton Portis and some of the other guys around the NFL. Jeremy Shockey, who we saw yesterday afternoon. Just some tremendous young guys coming into the NFL this season.
And in the round, netted 14 yards for the Jets. And they go to Lamont Jordan now. Jordan going outside is dragged down to the 30. A lot of people may say, why are they still going with the trick plays? Well, it's 35-17. The game is not clinched. The Packers are still playing, and I remember a game last year that we did when the St. Louis Rams never called off the dogs and used every gimmick play in the world to roll it up against the Jets in this very stadium.
Well, you just finished the football game, and it's not disrespectful to Mike Sherman or the Green Bay Packers, but you've got some other guys coming in the lineup right now. Don't tell me that Vinny Testaverde doesn't want to come on the football and lead a touchdown drive right now. It's the guys behind. They're not going to walk on as backup players and not play as hard as they possibly can. They want the same opportunities as the first group. 2nd and 16.
And here's Jordan. And Jordan to the 17. But Chad Pennington, what a day. People said, well, is Pennington going to get the measure of Brett Favre? Almost a perfect performance for him.
He really has been impressive. His entire string here as the New York Jets starter. And we talked about things at the beginning of the broadcast. What if? You know, if the Jets don't make the playoffs, well, they found their quarterback of the future. This guy is as impressive when you meet him in person as he is when you watch him play on the football field. The New York Jets have found their future at the quarterback position.
They sure have, and leading 35-17, 3rd down and 13. And here is the pass to Coles. Coles still on his feet and working his way inside the 5, where the Jets are very close to a 1st and goal situation. And Chad Pennington, who on draft day had no idea that the Jets were going to draft him. There you see he has had 7 100-plus rating games this year. He thought the 49ers might draft him, but they went for Julian Peterson. Steelers picked Plaxico Burress. He said, you know, my wife is from a small town in West Virginia. He said New York is a pretty big place, but he's very happy living in Long Island all year round now.
And that shows you the commitment that he has to this organization. He and his wife have made Long Island home, and he's here around the clock, around the year, doing everything he possibly can to get better.
And the Jets calling a 1st down with 1st and goal at the 3 in the waning moment.
The Dolphins will go for it on 4th down. Beamer's going to throw it over the middle. Hits his man. 15, 10, 5. Touchdown, Miami.
Show your pride. Call 1-877.
February, DW, Larry Mack, and the Emmy Award-winning Fox Racing team are back, starting with the 45th running of the Daytona 500. The Great American Race kicks off NASCAR on Fox coverage through June. Again, the Jets 5 for 5, 5 touchdowns and 5 possessions in the red zone. 1st and goal at the 3. Lamont Jordan gets over and is 6 for 6 for New York Jets.
Well, right now the Green Bay Packers just have to finish the football game. They've run into one of the hottest teams in the NFL going into the playoffs, and this weekend for the people here in the New York area, if I'm one of the teams that's already in the playoffs, I do not want to play the Giants, and I do not want to play the Jets in the opening round. 2 teams that made their way into the playoffs this weekend.
Amen to that. John Hall and the Jets with another touchdown, leading 42-17. So for the New York Jets, the 2nd most points they've scored this year. They scored 44 at San Diego, and that was a milestone game for them. And for the Green Bay Packers, easily the most that they've surrendered this year. Well, the big news, this television season is that America's #1 pregame show is taking its act to prime time. On Saturday, January 18th, it's Fox NFL Saturday Night, as JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy, along with Jillian and Jimmy Kimmel, grab the spotlight for what promises to be one of television's more entertaining hours. It's Fox NFL Saturday Night, January 18th at 9 p.m. Eastern and Pacific, only on Fox. What a daily double for New York football fans this weekend.
It's just been an unbelievable weekend here in the New York area. You can sense the excitement everywhere you went to. Take a look at what Chad Pennington has done right there this afternoon. But I tell you what, you know, the Giants yesterday, without the mistakes, that was one of the best performances I've ever seen against that Philadelphia Eagle defense. And then today, the Jets coming out here with, as you talked about it, Dick, the fact that they didn't know what their future was going to be when they took the field. They didn't let that affect them. They listened to what their coach said, and they came out here from the start and took control of this football game and have never slowed down.
No, they haven't. And the celebration has long been in progress on the Jets sideline. Brett Favre thinking about what could be a game next week. By the way, Jet playoff tickets for next week's home game will be available starting noon tomorrow at all Ticketmaster outlets. And that's a message for metropolitan area, Long Island, Jet fans in this area. Eric Metcalf returning the kickoff with 2:10 to go, and he is down. Well, this year, when they'll get to open up at home, they won't be in Oakland, where they had to go last year to start the playoffs, Moose. They're going to be here at the Meadowlands, and that's a huge difference besides 3,000 miles.
Well, the big thing is you knew they were able to draw back on what they did last year by going all the way out to Oakland in the last game of the year, having to win the football game to get into the playoffs. They get an opportunity to do that at home this year against another good football team, fighting for home field advantage throughout the playoffs. And you can't say enough about the performance and what this staff has done to keep this football team together this year.
And this may be the last play before the 2-minute warning, and the handoff to Henderson. And Henderson is tackled, and we will have the last 2-minute warning of the regular season. Jets 42, Packers 17. Out-thundering that score, Sam.
Fox NFL Sundays brought to you by Budweiser, delivering beer at its best with the crisp, clean, and refreshing taste known only to the king of beers.
Game day kicks off in the dawn's early light. Work behind the scenes to get it right. From the pigskin makers to the hard hat men, the special teams and the big game plan. This is for the people who never play it down, but really make it rock when the game's in town. This but's for you. And you and you and you. This but's for you.
Life is full of difficult choices, and some not so difficult. When you purchase an elegantly redesigned mid-size 2003 Saturn L Series, you can choose $2,500 toward your down payment. Or get 0% financing, 0 down payment, and 0 payments for 90 days. Unfortunately, this not-so-difficult choice ends January 2nd. Purchase a 2003 Saturn L Series and get $2,500 toward down payment. Or 0% APR, 0 down payment, and 0 monthly payment for 90 days. See participating retailer for restrictions.
Since I logged on to NFL.com, I found out who holds the single-season sack record. It's Michael Strahan.
I got the weather forecast for my next home game. Yep, cold.
Since I logged on to NFL.com, I can email my brother.
I can communicate better with my teammates.
Let me check that one more time. Oh, what do you know? Michael Strahan.
I found Super Bowl highlights.
2 minutes remain in the fourth quarter. Fox tonight, it's a special movie event. Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson in the best Die Hard yet. Die Hard with a Vengeance tonight at 7:30, 6:30 Central on Fox. And the Gatorade shower, so much of a tradition. I wonder Herm Edwards ever thought he was going to get that shower when he took the field today.
I don't think so. And you can see the reaction right there at Kevin Mawai. That says how much this team has been through this year. The big fight a couple of weeks ago, right when they had turned everything around, coming off the brink of a 2-5 start. Ted Cottrell showing a little. I tell you, you could see You can see as he's breathing, you can see his breath. It's a little bit chilly out on the field right now, and to have a bucket of ice water running down your back, not the most comfortable thing in the world.
2nd down and 6. Peterson handing off to Eric Metcalf. And Metcalf picking up 2 yards on the play. It's the 2nd year in a row under Herman Edwards that the Jets have won in the last game to make the playoffs. This is his 2nd year, and it's gone pretty well for him, don't you think? And Woody Johnson, the owner of the Jets, has himself a good man leading the way.
He really does. And you know, you talk about coaches with the X's and O's, but what impresses me the most about Herman Edwards is his people skills, his communication skills, his ability to motivate the players and make it fun to come to work.
3rd and 4 for the Packers. They hand off to Metcalf. And Metcalf may have a 1st down. Well, great job done by our technical and production crew. We'd like to thank them now. Today's game produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Artie Kempner. The associate director, Charles McDonald. The broadcast associates, Wayne Wilson and Robert Slosby. The technical producer is David Hill. The technical director, Rich Basili. The audio supervisor is Fred Aldous. The studio technical supervisor, Jack Simmons. Senior producer is Bill Brown, and the executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. And we'd also like to thank our Super Stats crew, Chris Visser, Rick Odioso, Wade Junko, and Mike Eldridge. Thanks to all. And what a triumphant weekend this has been for the fans of the Giants and Jets in the same stadium. The Giants make the playoffs in overtime yesterday, and the Jets win their 2nd AFC Championship division title and will play the Indianapolis Colts at home next week.
And how fun is that going to be? Tony Dungy, the teacher, against one of his mentors, Herman Edwards. That's going to be a great football game for the fans here in New York.
Final score, the New York Jets 42 and the Green Bay Packers 7. So right now the Philadelphia Eagles are back in the slot at home field advantage, and Green Bay may even drop more if Tampa Bay wins. And we'll be back to the Meadowlands in just a moment.
Buddy Holly sang a Peggy Sue, and his legend grew just like Dr. Pepper. Originality lives forever. Let's raise a Dr. Pepper, a taste of originality, salutes individuality, and gives life a personality. Be you, do what you do. Be you, nothing's better. Dr. Pepper.
It used to be business was conducted face-to-face, and people were helpful. It was known as common courtesy. At Siebel, we make application software that lets you once again give your customers personalized service. It's made a real difference in a lot of successful companies. It could make one in yours. Siebel, good service is good business.
In LA, everyone's trying to be something they're not.
I lie. That's what I do for a living.
But when you're deep undercover...
Who are you guys? The real deal.
The last thing you want is for someone to find out who you really are.
You don't show fear, need, loyalty, or love. Ever.
Fastlane moves to Fridays.
They always like that?
Yeah, it usually ends in some juvenile physical contest to see who wins the argument. See?
Followed by an all-new John Doe beginning January 10th on Fox.
How does paper beat rock? That's the way it is, man. Just accept it.
Summer in the city. Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson. Die Hard with a Vengeance. Yippee-ki-yay. At 7:30 tonight on Fox.
Final score, the New York Jets beat the Green Bay Packers 42-17. The game starting in such uncertain terms and ending up in a triumphant win for the Jets. Here is Dr. Pepper's play of the game, Darryl.
And this is the play that got him to 28-10. They came out in the second half and just took control. A great individual effort by Santana Moss, breaking some tackles, would not be denied to get into the end zone.
And here is the UPS leaderboard delivering today's leaders. It's Pennington, it's Martin with a big game, and you might as well say New York, New York as the song goes, because both New York teams are in. The Giants and Jets both make the playoffs. So this is Dick Stockton For Daryl Johnston saying so long from the Meadowlands. Up next is the Autotrader.com post-game show with JB, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy. For more information on today's game and the latest NFL news, log on to foxsports.com. Triumphant weekend in the Meadowlands. So long, everybody. See you in the playoffs.
.com post-game show. Brought to you by Autotrader.com. Sell your car fast on the ultimate automotive classified site.
Fox tonight, it's a special movie event. Bruce Willis and Samuel L. Jackson in the best Die Hard of them all, Die Hard with a Vengeance. Next, except on the West Coast on Fox, that'll be coming your way in just about 10 minutes from now. As we welcome you back to Studio 2A here at the Fox Network Center in Los Angeles, California. Full house here as we talk about the Jets taking control and winning the AFC East.
Well, give credit when credit is due. Herm Edwards did a great job, you know, after having his team, I think, are like 2-5, and they got into the playoffs, and they earned their way into the playoffs. Played outstanding against Green Bay, completely dominating this game. And again, when they were under a pressure situation, they played well. He had them hang together in some tough times.
Yeah, especially early on in the season. In Green Bay, here they had an opportunity to wrap up home field advantage where they're pretty much unbeatable. They have the possibility, if Tampa Bay wins later on, to fall to the number 3 seed. Philly would have home field advantage then. Tampa Bay would go to number 2. San Francisco would be number 4. And Green Bay, instead of being number 1, would end up being number 3.
And it all boils down to this. It looks like Green Bay hasn't played well in the last 3 or 4 weeks. Philadelphia has struggled and got beaten by the Giants. The best team that's played so far has been the New York Giants. And I have to say this, watch out for the Giants. They're a football team that's going this way while everybody else is either leveled off and dropped a little bit. That from the rain. Leveled off? Reveled off. Did I say reveled off?
Hey, you think Dwayne Rudd's happy
well,
that
they continue to debate what Terry said. Exactly, we understand. Rain Man, we understand him well. Let's go back out to the announcers, Dick Stockton and Daryl Johnston.
And you can talk about Pennington, you talk about the great Jets, but here's a team that lost 5 of their first 7. Everyone said their season was over. They end up 9-7, win a division.
Unbelievable the stuff that they went through during the year to start out 2-5, but then when they got the thing turned around and started to winning, they started to separate. There was a big fight a couple of weeks ago. Herman Edwards just a great job keeping this group together.
They went to San Diego with a 2-5 record. The Chargers were 6-1, and just this week, Herman Edwards said to his team, remember that? Well, we both have the same records right now, and they are in the playoffs as division champion, and the Chargers are not. That's what can happen. And a few moments ago, John DeCepolo had a few words with Chad Pennington, the Jets quarterback.
All right, guys, thanks very much, Chad. What a day for you. You tied your career-high 4 touchdown passes. You started the season as a backup. It's been a wild ride. How does it feel now, New York Jets, AFC East champs?
Well, this is nothing but a total team win, and after all the adversity that we faced, our team deserves this. And now we got to focus on the playoffs. It's about the postseason. We were there last year. We got to take it another step forward.
What did you tell your troops here, starting the second half, not to let this one get away?
Well, this game's all about fundamentals and details, and we just talked to each other about focusing on the fundamentals and playing our style of football.
How important is it to carry this momentum, obviously, into next week's home game against Indianapolis in the first round?
It's very important. There's no doubt we got our work cut out for us. We've got a big challenge ahead of us. But what's new, we've been challenged all year, and our guys will step up.
All right, good luck to you. Congratulations.
And you have no doubt that he could step up the way he's played down the stretch, winning the big games.
Yeah, they deserve this, but they went out and earned it today. So there's a big difference right there. You don't always get what you deserve. They went out and took it this afternoon.
All right, thanks very much, Daryl. We head for the playoffs, and now back to our studio.
All right, Dick, as we come back in again, awfully nice to hear the coach, even though I know he's just a little bit down right now. Give Herm Edwards credit. Just a little down, no?
Oh. Well, you know, I really thought the Dolphins would be able to pull it out there at New England. They had such a great start. Ricky Williams had such a great year, 8th best rushing in NFL history, but it just didn't happen.
If you had said that the Miami Dolphins were going to go to Buffalo a few weeks back, Ricky Williams would rush for over 200 yards, and he would rush for over 180 yards today in New England, and they would lose both games, I'd say you were crazy.
Right. Losing the starting quarterback in the middle of the year.
Well, you don't go up to Minnesota and lose like Miami did.
Right.
You don't beat Oakland at home and then get us all excited and then go back on the road again and lose a game you got to win to get in. It's crazy.
We want Rain Man to save his energy because he did predict all of this yesterday. So with that in mind, let's go through the scores and put it all in context for you, starting first with, again, as Coach Johnson said, Coach Edwards had the Jets ready today. They clinched the AFC East title with that victory over the Green Bay Packers. The Broncos, too little, too late, although a convincing victory over the Cardinals by 30 points today. San Diego, again, too little, too late. They're out of the playoffs right now, holding to a touchdown lead over the Seahawks that late in the fourth period of play there. The Colts are in already. They come back to beat the Jaguars. It was all knotted at 13 apiece. Here's how Miami blew their chance today.
Ricky Williams, 185 yards rushing on the day, breaks his touchdown run to the outside. 16-yarder, 14-0. 14-0, folks. Fourth quarter, Tom Brady back. Troy Brown, 3-yard touchdown, 24-19, Miami. 2-point conversion. Then Brady to Christian Fourier, there it is, 2-point conversion, 24-21, Miami. And then Adam Vinatieri kicks a 43-yard field goal. Whoa. Then he nails this one in overtime of 35-yarder. We're all tied up until this is nailed. And there you have it. What a comeback. At one point down 21-7. The Dolphins lose to the Patriots 27-24.
So both teams, however, are eliminated. That because of the New York Jets taking the AFC East title. New England and Miami are out of the playoffs. The Ravens are out of the playoffs as well. The Steelers win at 34-31. Brian Billick did do an excellent job with that squad, though. And the Tennessee Titans have won 10 of their last 11 games. They beat up on the new Texans, if you will, the Oilers, by that score as you just saw there. So here we are in the AFC playoff. Oakland has home field throughout. Tennessee, a first-round bye. Pittsburgh's the number 3 seed. Jets are number 4 seed. Indy and Cleveland round out the 5th and 6th seeds. And so we do know the games will be Pittsburgh taking on Cleveland, Jets against Indianapolis. Both Pittsburgh and the Jets will be hosting wild card teams. That is the AFC playoff side of the house for you. The Bills comfortably over the Bengals. The Bengals now have lost 14 games on the season.
Tim Couch of the Cleveland Browns back-to-back pass.